Fang Yi is an ugly loser and the world treats him like the ultimate definition of a Tinder left swipe. Broke, academically hopeless, and walking around with an IQ hovering somewhere around room temperature, he is the kind of guy people overlook without even realizing they did it. Teachers barely remember his name.
Who are you?
Classmates use him as the safe comparison to feel better about themselves, and even his own girlfriend upgrades her life plan by deleting him. On the surface, he looks like a genetic and financial misfire. The final draft nobody bothered to proofread. But under that discount, exterior sits a man who has already watched the world collapse once and is quietly preparing to flip the script. The system screens show the many strange events that have taken place around the world. It reveals how fishermen found a giant abalone on the coast, too big for 10 people to surround, believed to be a mutation from nuclear wastewater. Moreover, an ancient tree in a tourist area has grown out of control, its roots spreading for kilometers and cracking the ground as if the earth itself is pulsing. Huge vines fall from the sky like something from fairy tales. Subway tracks are destroyed in several places, causing deaths, and people ignore it all, thinking it is just fake news, like the old zombie scare, while students stand outside their school, gossiping. When the school beauty, Chu Qing-li, arrives, and everyone thinks she has come to break up with her poor boyfriend Fang Yi, since she has been accepted into a top university, while he has not, making their futures seem unequal. And she coldly tells him their relationship is unrealistic and should end, saying life together needs courage and compatibility. While Fang Yi stays calm and agrees to break up, shocking her and the crowd, who expect him to beg, and when he walks away, she angrily warns him not to think he can win her back, but he tells her not to flatter herself by calling herself the school beauty, leaving everyone stunned. Unknown to them, Fang Yi has returned from a future disaster and knows the world's rules of money and education will soon collapse, making her just a stranger from another life. And he leaves because something far bigger is coming to Blue Star. For the night before, strange cracks show him the future, and a system tells him that aura recovery will fully activate in 364 days, rewriting society and starting an age of cultivators where power rules, and the system, using cosmic algorithms, can create cultivation methods from spiritual materials he touches, but he has none yet. As he reaches out, his hand passes through the system window. A powerful monster suddenly appears and roars, and fear freezes him in place, and inside the monster's mouth is a corpse, and the system says this marks the end of Fang Yi's life as an ordinary person, and the fate of billions on Blue Star. Fear rises in his chest as he remembers his past life, where he is an ordinary man who only struggles to survive while his nation falls, people suffer, and mutated beasts kill him, leaving him to die in anger and despair, and realizing he is brought back 1 year before the aura recovery, he decides to use every coming anomaly to grow stronger. When he touches the system fragments, it links to him and unlocks a new path, allowing everything in the world to be used as material, with the mission to gather techniques and become a powerful cultivator to save humanity. Soon, news spreads that the world faces an unprecedented crisis, and people must rely on their own strength, while the government avoids clear answers and only tells citizens to prepare, a calm approach Fang Yi recognizes from his past life. He then notices the top trending news. The UV index at Qingcheng University reaches a record high, and students are warned to avoid the North Gate. Fang Yi checks the sky near him and finds the UV level is 0, which confuses him, but photos show blazing sunlight over the university, and knowing this is a real anomaly, he goes there. At the North Gate, ashes shine as they fall from the sky, and students flee from the deadly heat, and Fang Yi stays, reaches out and touches the falling ash, and the system detects strong yang energy and begins forming a data template. The energy rushes into his body, causing intense pain as a bright light bursts from him, burning his clothes and forcing others to shield their eyes, and Fang Yi endures the pain until the process ends, and the system announces that the compilation is complete. He gains a yang attribute cultivation method called the Golden Sun Breathing Technique, marking the true start of his path as a cultivator. On the day new students register at Qingcheng University, Chu Qing-li arrives and several boys try to carry her suitcase and get her attention, but she refuses them and sneers at a nearby couple. Suddenly, a bright golden light flashes, and a loudspeaker warns everyone to stay away from the North Gate, making her serious as she goes to see what is happening. At the North Gate, golden energy bursts into the air, and a dark figure walks out of the smoke, giving off a strong presence as his eyes shine with gold while he takes a deep breath. A system screen appears, telling him he has created a new technique and gained 50 points, which he notices but does not understand yet. Night comes with a strange moon, and he practices his new breathing method. The next day, as the sun rises, a new energy spreads through the university, and some students feel the sky turn dark and cool for a moment, then run toward the North Gate where a crowd gathers. The dean scolds them for ignoring the warning, and officials push through as the crowd moves aside. A hooded person tells the dean to seal off the north gate completely. At the same time, the system tells Fang Yi he has cleaned a polluted area, making him realize the government already knows about such places and that others like him might exist. When alerts announce the area is now restricted, students see uniformed people and wonder if they are soldiers. From a rooftop, Fang Yi sees the growing attention, his red eyes glowing as he decides to leave and jumps down. Below, the hooded figure walks across cracked ground, kneels, touches the earth to sense leftover energy, and picks up a piece of stone to study it, understanding that one person has caused the change. Officials then guide students away while the hooded figure watches from a distance. In the crowd, Chu Qingli is shocked to hear only one person did this, briefly wondering if it is him before quickly rejecting the thought. At home that night, Fang Yi lies on his bed as the sun sets, still feeling hot even after a cold shower, worried he will not sleep and that someone might have noticed what he did at the university. He checks his phone and sees a trending article about a cultivation association, something people once mocked as an online joke, and he remembers the hooded figures at school, thinking they must belong to it. The article explains cultivation realm details from ghost acts to the ultimate realm, transcendence, and while comments laugh, Fang Yi wonders if it is real, knowing he has never learned any of this in his past life. Sitting up, he decides to practice his new technique again, closes his eyes, and focuses as golden energy spreads around him, making him sweat and slowly float in his room inside a bright glow. The system guides him to strengthen his body to hold the power of heaven and earth, and he shapes the energy into a divine axe, smiling as his eyes shine with power. The system says he has reached the Dashui realm and gives him 50 more points, then explains that points can place compiled power into objects. Curious, Fang Yi looks at his mug and reaches out as the system asks if he wants to spend 1 point to add the Yang attribute to it, making him realize this is like enchanting items. He thinks a powered weapon will be vital for the coming dangers, so he picks up a small sword from his shelf to test the power, planning to buy a real weapon later if it works. Suddenly, a strange sound comes from outside in the middle of the night, and a dark creature with huge claws and glowing red eyes watches his apartment, showing sharp teeth in the dark like a giant demonic rabbit ready to attack. Inside the apartment, Fang Yi does not know danger is close. While lying in bed, he feels uncomfortable from his new cultivation, hearing a strange sound like a rat and thinking it is a neighbor's pet because his hearing is now sharper. When he focuses on the sound, he senses something wrong and goes to the door, where he meets the red-eyed mutated beast in the dark hallway and freezes as memories of his past life rush back. At the same time, drones fly over the city at night, showing others are tracking the danger. On a rooftop, a young woman with a lollipop complains they have not yet caught the rabbit that ate the night spirit fruit, then orders her team to keep reporting and jumps down to chase it. As she draws closer, she feels the beast's power, her eyes glowing as she prepares to fight, landing hard on rooftops and running down walls under orders to pursue it no matter what, warning that the creature might evolve after eating the fruit. Meanwhile, a late-night worker sees something flash past his window and thinks of it as his boss scolds him, while the hunter stands like a shadow against the moon high above the city. Back in the apartment, the beast screams and attacks Fang Yi with its claws, but he dodges quickly, seeing its moves clearly as his body has changed. He gathers sun energy in his hand, realizing the monster has not fully evolved yet, but can grow stronger if left alone. Knowing everyone in the building is in danger, he rushes forward, grabs the beast with glowing energy, bites it without fear, and holds it tight as his golden eyes stay cold and focused. He spins the creature through the air, sees that its tail is a weak point, seizes it with all his strength, and hurls the beast into the window, shattering the glass from the force. With his fist glowing gold, Fang Yi prepares a strong strike and releases a beam of energy that hits the mutated beast in midair, covering it in bright light. The creature grabs the energy with its claws and tries to steal his Yang power. Realizing this, Fang Yi pushes back, knowing the sun's power is too strong and that the rabbit-like monster is destroying itself. A golden explosion follows, and the beast cannot endure the energy. In a nearby building, a couple wakes from the noise, the man thinking it is thunder, and when he checks the window, he sees nothing unusual. Fang Yi lands on the floor, surrounded by fading golden light, and thinks the creature is like a starving ghost trying to consume his power. The monster's eye drops to the ground, releasing black smoke, and with a serious look, Fang Yi crushes it under his foot, ending the threat. He understands the creature has been desperate for his opposite Yang power, and that if he is still normal, everyone in the building would have died, so he knows he must gain more techniques to face future dangers. At the same time, the mysterious hunter moves through the moonlit sky, running down buildings with great speed. When she reaches the scene, she freezes in shock, realizing someone else has killed her target. Kneeling, she confirms the beast is destroyed and reaches for the remaining night attribute, but the leftover golden energy burns her hand, forcing her back as she recognizes the same power from the university gate. She activates her communicator and reports that a powerful new forerunner with a special ability has eliminated the target. Her base asks if this is the same person who cleared the gate, and with no information on him, they decide the association must recruit him. The silver-haired hunter, Su Qingying, agrees, and she carefully stores the small flame of energy in a container on her clothes, is told to drop other tasks and focus on finding the new forerunner. Calmly unwraps her lollipop, puts it in her mouth, accepts the mission, says she will first get some milk tea to relax, and agrees she needs to meet this powerful master. Fang Yi wakes at sunrise, stretches, and begins training because early morning helps his cultivation. He uses his breathing method to draw in golden morning energy, and his eyes glow as he enters the Ghost Axe realm, feeling a new surge of power as he grows stronger again. He focuses to control the energy, clenches his fist, and summons his key axe, which now feels lighter in his hand. Lifting the golden axe high, he releases his strength and breaks into the 2-star Ghost Axe realm, his eyes burning with golden flames as his body becomes tougher and stronger from using the leftover energy of his last breakthrough. Realizing this fast growth is risky, he decides to improve more slowly from now on and moves to a quiet riverside spot to avoid attention. In the association office, a man senses changes in the sun's energy and suspects the new person again. By the river, Fang Yi confirms through the system that he will add a special attribute to his weapon, remembering that a weaker item failed before, but this blade forms a strong bond with his power, and the system confirms the encoding is successful. Eager to test it, he swings the weapon, releasing a massive golden beam into the sky, landing with the sword in flames, and nearly starting a fire, showing how dangerous his strength has become. Seeing the thick smoke, he knows he has been noticed, and quickly leaves. Su Qingyi runs toward the smoke, annoyed that she steps away and misses everything, then stops in shock when she sees the river boiling. Flying over the damaged area, she wonders what the new person has done, and imagines being blamed since problems keep appearing after he arrives. A distant golden flash catches her eye, and as she senses his power, she is stunned that he has jumped from 1 star to 2 stars, and even created a spirit weapon. The association has only 2 spirit weapons like his, and even they do not fully know how to make them, so Su Qingyi girl feels doubtful about how Fang Yi gained such power alone, then decides she must be mistaken, and begins cleaning up the damage he causes. Far away, Fang Yi thinks about how his sword now carries the Yang attribute and wants to add more traits since the system can encode anything. His phone suddenly buzzes, and he realizes he has forgotten to stay hidden when a stranger invites him to a pioneers group, explaining that official members have to be at least in the Ghost Axe realm, and that there is a new pollution zone to clear together. Fang Yi asks for details and receives a file about the Shadow River lava dragon, learning the area has lava and strong Yang energy like his own, so he agrees to join. In the Binmu district, a team waits, one member praising the girl's map for making the trip easy, while a blonde girl, Xiao Ye, thanks everyone and urges teamwork, hiding her worry that the pioneers are weak since she comes from the Cultivation Association, a government group she joins with family help and does not want to fail. When Fang Yi arrives, someone calls his name, and he steps forward with his new sword, introducing himself as the agent senses his warm but strong aura. With the team ready, they move into the cave, Fang Yi taking the lead and asking Xiao Ye to handle the light, while others warn him about loose rocks and find it strange that the cave is not yet hot. As they walk, Fang Yi feels the team accept him quickly and believes their trust is real in such dangerous times, until the ground under his feet changes color, showing danger is near. They reach a wide opening and see a river of boiling lava. Before anyone can stop him, Fang Yi rushes forward and pushes his sword into the lava, as Xiao Ye shouts for him not to be reckless. The team panics when a fiery blast throws them back, and Fang Yi's system detects a world anomaly and begins analyzing the situation. When Fang Yi pushes his sword into the lava, the system studies the strange change and unlocks a new power called Inner Flame, which has very high heat and explosive force, and also reveals the Scarlet Flame sword technique that covers the blade in fire and lightning when drawn. Fang Yi holds his Tang sword firmly as his eyes and the blade burn with red fire. The explorers below, who are thrown back earlier, watch in shock as Fang Yi stands safe inside swirling flames, seeing his sword absorb power from the lava. Fang Yi then uses his script points to permanently place the Scarlet Flame attribute into his sword, which now burns with strong energy. When the flames fade, his teammates think he has only suffered a small cultivation problem and has recovered, and they are happy because the cave's spiritual energy has stabilized. One of them cheers that he can absorb the energy smoothly, while another, about to begin cultivating, calls Xiao Ya's name with excitement. She then tells them to train while she stands guard as they thank her. Their calm breaks when Xiao Ya senses people coming toward the cave entrance and warns that other pioneers are arriving. 3 strong men enter, led by one with an eye patch and glowing red eyes, who proudly claims the rich land as theirs. Xiao Ya grows worried because all 3 are at the 1-star Ghost Axe realm, which her team cannot fight. Yet Xiao Ya tries to speak calmly, saying they arrive first and even offering to let them join. The leader mocks her low level and tells them to leave or face the results. Zhao Ya becomes serious, knowing this new world follows survival of the fittest, but as a member of the Zhao Nations Association, she refuses to accept this unfairness. Before the conflict grows worse, Fang Yi steps in with his burning sword and coldly asks if the man has nothing better to do than bully a young woman. He then strikes once, sending the three attackers flying in a fiery blast and shocking his teammates from meditation, reminding him that only great force can stop such people. Fang Yi pushes his sword into the ground in front of the rival leader, and a huge golden aura rises around him as he coldly tells them to leave. The leader, terrified by this second show of power, calls Fang Yi a monster and orders his men to run. Fang Yi watches them escape, and his teammates rush to him, excited by his strength, but Fang Yi smiles and brushes it off, saying it is time to go. As they leave, Xiao Ya thinks about how much power Fang Yi has shown and realizes he has held back, believing he is a top-level pioneer and knowing she has to report this to her organization at once. In the Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association office, a woman on the phone with Xiao Ya repeats in shock that another high-attribute pioneer has appeared, then quickly ends the call when she notices an imposing man behind her. The woman then asks her superior if they are lucky to find two high-attribute pioneers in a row, but he says it is not luck, explaining that each high-attribute person will become a new center of power, which worries him greatly. Under a bright sky, Fang Yi returns to the city and tries to look like a cosplayer, but his strong presence and real sword draw attention. He sees news of the cave fight spreading online, scolding himself for being careless since his inner flame is too obvious. Trusting his teammates, he focuses on the urgent problem that the yang energy he absorbs is pushing him toward another breakthrough, so he goes to the back mountain to find a quiet place. Minutes later, on the same mountain, a garden restoration specialist, Su Qingying, feels a powerful presence, sees a burst of light like a small sun, and knows someone is breaking into the 3-star Ghost Axe realm, shocked by the scale of the energy and rushing toward it to catch the person this time. High on the mountain, Fang Yi focuses on his breakthrough as he pulls in large amounts of golden energy that spin around him and form a bright sun-like ball above his head, while a complex star-shaped form appears behind him. Golden sparks run over his skin, his eyes glow, and he struggles to control the wild power until it gathers into a huge divine axe of golden and light blue energy. Su Qingying arrives and stops in shock, seeing him about to swing the axe with perfect control, far beyond anything she has ever achieved, reminding her of her own failed breakthrough that leaves her injured for days. As she moves closer, she sees that every bit of his power is clean and steady, making her feel he is like a god who has come down, calm and experienced like an ancient master. Fang Yi's eyes burn with golden light as raw energy spreads over his face, and a system message confirms his success as he reaches the 2-star Ghost Axe realm. The divine axe strikes the ground, sending a huge shockwave across the mountain, cutting a path through the forest and forcing Su Qingying to brace herself. When the light fades, Fang Yi has vanished, and she fears she has missed him again, thinking he knows she is tracking him. Seeing a large tree glowing with leftover light, she calls out to him. Fang Yi appears from the forest shadows, recognizing her as the one who has been watching him. She introduces herself as the captain of the Firefly Squad from the Shasta Nation Spiritual Practitioners Association, and one of the first pioneers, admitting she has followed him for 2 days and inviting him to join the association. Fang Yi stays silent, then asks why he should join, surprising her. She speaks honestly, saying the Shasta Nation wants to gather early pioneers to guide them in an organized way and protect them, even if it feels like a cage, because a great return of spiritual energy is coming, and they will need to stand together against unknown dangers. After hearing her speech, Fang Yi leans against a tree and calmly refuses to join, saying he cannot yet trust her or the association. Su Qingying is shocked and quickly shows her ID, saying she has been a famous athlete before the spiritual energy returns, hoping this will make him believe her. Fang Yi remembers seeing her photo as a runner-up in the Shasta Nation long-distance race and understands her natural talent, but a dark memory of his past life comes to him, where the association fails and humanity falls. Knowing he has returned to change the future, he decides joining now is not right, tells her he will think about it, and suddenly leaves. He then appears behind her and asks her to keep his location secret. Su Qingying suggests sending a mixed report to protect him while satisfying her superiors, and Fang Yi agrees before disappearing again. She chases him but fails, then walks alone, annoyed at always losing him and tired of cleaning the energy traces he leaves. Her thoughts are cut off when her earpiece warns that strange creatures have appeared again, bringing back memories of wolf-like monsters born from pollution zones that feed on humans and can hide as disasters, spreading destruction if not stopped. A violent storm hits the city. Lightning fills the sky, as alerts warn people to stay inside and close Yuhuang Mountain for flood risk, with some joking a powerful being faces a lightning trial. In a rainy alley, Fang Yi feels the wild lightning energy and knows this is another anomaly, then spots the storm center on a distant peak and runs across rooftops toward it. At Yuhuang Mountain's base, the system warns of a pollution zone, and he sees bones and twisted trees near the summit, as unknown danger is reported. Without stopping, Fang Yi walks into the stormy forest toward the peak as blue lightning strikes the mountain again, marking his target. Inside the Spiritual Practitioners Association Command Center, officials watch a blue energy vortex over Mount Yuhuang and report the danger is rising fast, forcing them to close the area as a new contamination zone. The leader pulls Su Qingying from another task to report, and she says the thunder energy is unstable and can explode at any time, making the mountain an A-level zone that might soon rise to S-level, which will trigger the highest emergency plan. She warns that no explorer, including herself, can safely approach it. The room falls silent as they realize any mission there means certain death. A security officer orders the mountain base sealed with non-stop patrols, and the leader agrees that no one should go near it until the energy drops. While they act cautiously, Fang Yi is already inside the storm, standing under crashing blue lightning, protected by his golden aura. He knows survival is not enough, and that he has to reach the storm's center at the peak to gain the purest thunder power, driven by memories of greater disasters to come and the need to strengthen his body, not just his weapon. Seeing the rare chance, he draws his flaming sword and thrusts it into a massive lightning bolt, letting wild thunder tear through him in painful waves as the storm resists him like divine punishment. He calms himself, remembers he must touch the source to gain power, and releases his golden sun, breathing, roaring as he cuts through the storm with his sword. Golden light clashes with blue lightning in violent bursts, blood dripping from his mouth as he forces his way upward until he reaches the peak and drives his sword into the rock at the storm's center. There, the pressure grows so strong he can barely breathe, and the storm focuses fully on him, gathering all its power into one blazing beam of white lightning aimed straight at him. The storm sends a final attack meant to destroy Fang Yi, but as he faces it, his system activates, detects a strong thunder attribute, and begins processing it. Far below, people in the city watch the huge lightning from tall buildings, some taking photos, and others wondering if a god faces a trial, even thinking they see a person at the mountain peak. The clash ends in a bright explosion, and Fang Yi wins as the system confirms he has gained refined divine thunder power, letting him summon heavenly lightning and earning him 5 writing points. Floating in the air with blue lightning around him and golden light on his body, he understands that thunder is a top-level power for attack and defense, able to refine his body while his sun power is more for defense. He understands that thunder also means cleansing and rebirth, as it strengthens his bones and muscles without pain. The system offers him an upgrade to punish evil for double critical damage. When he lands, he thinks about his next step, first wanting to add thunder to his Tang sword, but worrying it will mix badly with the sun power and damage the weapon. He then chooses to place the thunder attribute into his right hand instead. When the system confirms, all the blue lightning rushes into his hand as he takes the storm's power. The next day on Mount Yuhuang, the danger is gone, and Su Qingying and Captain Han stand by body bags as she reports the energy level has dropped from extreme to mild in 3 hours. The Major realizes someone has been there, likely a seeker who enters before the mountain is sealed, survives the lightning, and uses thunder power to turn the disaster into a chance, causing the sudden drop after 8 in the evening. They agree such a person is dangerous because they do not know whose side he is on and must be found quickly. Far away, Fang Yi sneezes at home, unaware that the army has begun searching for him. The Major orders his troops to find the target at all costs, giving him the codename Tyrant. The investigation at Yuhuang Mountain starts right away, with the army hoping that the Spiritual Practitioners Association can soon recruit the mysterious person known as Tyrant, while they keep this event secret and also begin their own search. On the rainy mountain peak, the leader of the association tells Captain Han that they already have a high-level pioneer trying to make a contact with this person, and then asks Su Qingying to give her report. She is caught by surprise and gives a half-true report, saying the incident is connected to the pioneer who cleared the pollution zone at a university, explaining that she found the body of a mutated rabbit and confirmed his yang flame power, while also admitting that he is very hard to find and promising that she will try to get closer to him, all while hiding her private deal with Fang Yi. Captain Han listens carefully and is satisfied with her work, praises her as a talented pioneer, and says they will spread stories about natural disasters to cover up the truth and avoid putting any news about spiritual energy on the internet. Feeling relieved, Su Qingying lets out a long breath when the meeting ends. Back at home, Fang Yi dries his hoodie using his golden sun breathing and checks his body, seeing blue lightning flash in his right hand, which is now his strongest part, calm and easy to control compared to the strong pain he felt when he first gained yang power. Remembering that thunder power deals double damage to evil creatures, he feels eager to test it. His phone then shows a major alert about a chemical factory explosion causing pollution, with officials saying no one was hurt, but online posts describing a cold and evil feeling nearby. These words feel familiar to Fang Yi, and an old memory suddenly appears in his mind of him hiding from a huge red demonic rat monster with many eyes that destroyed everything around it, making him realize that this new incident could be another dangerous anomaly. Back in the present moment, Fang Yi becomes serious as he remembers that these creatures are plants or animals that become self-aware after changing. Their power goes out of control and gives them deadly hunting abilities, and they often appear at night. He knows this threat is much more dangerous than the mutated rabbit he faced before. Clenching his fist as blue lightning sparks around it, he decides to go out that night to stop them from growing stronger and to test his new double damage ability in real combat. On a dark and stormy night, rain pours on empty streets as cloaked members of the Destroyer Squad race through the city, reporting to headquarters that they are tracking Anomaly File 7, Candle Knight, a creature that can hide in the dark, makes a faint sizzling sound, and eats humans. From a rooftop, their scar-faced leader, Dong-Su, says the storm is perfect for the creature's hunt and that they must stop it. In the command center, operators upgrade the case to high priority with a 12-hour limit and tell the squad to continue carefully. As they near the last known location, headquarters warns that Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association agents are nearby, showing Su Qingying's photo and suggesting her team can help. The leader asks for her support, praising her skills, while elsewhere she is surprised to hear she is well known. Soon, Su Qingying and her Ying squad arrive on a higher rooftop, and she jokes about being called for overtime. Dong-Su sternly replies that Candle Knight eats people and this is serious, which upsets her team. When one member challenges his tone, Su Qingying turns to leave, saying they are not needed. As her team prepares to go, one of the Ying team's member tells Su Qingying that the other team will get eaten by the monster, whereas the other member says that it's their problem. Just then, Dong-Su quickly apologizes and begs for her help, explaining that Candle Knight is extremely dangerous and without her tracking skills they will struggle, and if they fail, the monster will kill people in the city. After agreeing to work together, the two teams wait on a rainy rooftop as Su Qingying focuses and forms a glowing blue orb that reveals the location of Candle Knight, a multi-eyed rat-like monster hiding in the dark, wet ruins of a chemical plant where it is feeding. As its file says, it likes darkness, damp places, and eating people. When the attack begins, the creature senses them at once and leaps away as an attack hits where it stands. The Destroyer Squad forms up and chases it, surrounding it from all sides before one member strikes it and knocks it into rubble. Instead of weakening, the monster changes, growing red sores and black spikes as it screams and sends out a dark energy wave. Su Qingying warns them to dodge the sound blast, but it is too late. The sonic wave throws the fighters back, knocking the squad leader off the roof, though he survives and realizes the danger is severe if the creature stays in the city. Candle Knight changes again, growing bat-like wings, its throat glowing green as it sprays toxic dark mist onto the ground to melt the street and escape underground. Su Qingying's teammate warns that its corrosive power destroys anything it touches, and that their team lacks the strength to fight it directly. Su Qingying stays calm, tells her team to support without breaking the Destroyer Squad's formation, and focuses on gathering information, while a Destroyer Squad member prepares to strike as red eyes flash from the dark, and the winged monster flies through the streets, chased by the cloaked teams. From a rooftop, Su Qingying feels the creature's energy spike and orders her team to stay back while she follows alone to a large abandoned factory, where she says she will scan the spiritual energy, showing Dong-Su her new association device that measures the safe energy level for a team as 50. Candle Knight's reading is 48, but Su Qingying's wrist device suddenly flashes and jumps past 80, and she shouts that the energy levels are out of control. A huge shadow with glowing green eyes appears in the factory rafters, and she realizes they have walked into a trap and that more than one monster is there. Dong-Su panics and orders a retreat. Su Qingying quickly tells everyone to move toward the main door to force the hidden enemy to appear. She fires energy to clear a path and calls for her team to follow, but she suddenly cries out and collapses as invisible poison gas overwhelms her. Lost in the green darkness, she calls for her team with no answer and understands the full trap, that Candle Knight has led them into the territory of a far stronger creature, a giant shadowy serpent she has only faintly sensed before. The armored serpent with green eyes appears, and she realizes its black mist is poison that drains spiritual energy and silently paralyzes its victims, making fighting useless and leading to certain death as her own power fades. Falling to the floor, she feels despair at the creature's cruel intelligence and closes her eyes, thinking this might be the end. A ray of light cuts through the green haze, and the ceiling bursts open. Bright light fills the room, and Fang Yi drops in, facing the dark serpent at once. The serpent lunges with its fangs as Candle Knight attacks from behind. Fang Yi dodges the strike and faces the rat-like monster, seeing the trap clearly. He lets Candle Knight bite his shoulder, noting their clever teamwork, taunts it, then releases bright blue lightning from his body to shock the beast, while firing a huge golden solar beam from his free hand into the charging serpent. Freed from the stunned rat, Fang Yi turns fully on the serpent, covering himself in crackling power and sending waves of golden flames at it to test how it will face fire. The giant serpent rushes at Fang Yi with its mouth wide open, but he dodges with ease, flipping through the air and swinging his glowing sword, then calmly challenges the beast as it pulls back from the bright blade. He jumps again and slashes the serpent's face, sending thunder power through his sword, yet instead of breaking its skull, the head splits open and reveals another head beneath, making him realize the fight is not over. The serpent roars in pain as leftover thunder energy runs through its body and overpowers its dark power. Fang Yi smirks because he has the advantage, and he has held back his fire and uses his sword to send thunder from his hand into the serpent, knowing it is stronger than Candle Knight. Suddenly, pain hits his shoulder where Candle Knight bites him, and purple scales spread from the wound, showing the serpent's poison works through its partner. His golden sun breathing fights the venom while his thunder purifies it, and he realizes the mix of his powers lets him feel poison clearly and resist it, something others cannot survive. He guesses the serpent grows strong by using surprise attacks with Candle Knight as bait, killing many pioneers, but it is over now as the creature's huge body burns to ash in his holy fire. Fang Yi stands quietly, satisfied that his inner flame and thunder end the terror, confident his strength now matches high-level pioneers. As the fire fades, he senses someone nearby and turns to see Su Changyi stumble from the smoke, covered in ash but alive, with her unconscious teammates around her. Recognizing her, he tells her there is no need to pretend and that her act of playing dead needs work, which embarrasses her. She tries to excuse herself by saying the smoke wakes her, but Fang Yi sees through it and calmly says she is strong enough to keep a little energy to protect herself, and if she is truly unconscious, she will not have smelled anything. Embarrassed, Su Changyi thanks Fang Yi, amazed that he sees through her act and knows she has saved some energy to protect herself, even though she cannot understand how he defeats both Candle Knight and the giant serpent alone. Fang Yi softens his tone, tells her to be honest with him and keep his identity secret, then says it is late and leaves by jumping through the hole in the ceiling and disappearing into the night. As he crosses the rooftops, he thinks about the battle, glad Su Changyi does not try to absorb the monster's dark power and wonders why he cannot absorb it himself, guessing it is gone, or his body rejects it, deciding to think about it later. Left in the factory, Su Changyin stares at the moonlit hole, disappointed she never sees his face and realizing he still does not trust her or the association. She then wakes Dongsu, who panics about an ambush until he sees the smoking skeleton of the giant serpent and stands in shock. Su Changyin explains that a powerful pioneer with a yang attribute saves them, likely the same person from her earlier mission, and says she has not recruited him yet, making him seem even more mysterious. As they begin cleanup, the leader gathers dark remains with green energy, then crushes debris that explodes with blue electricity, hurting him and shocking everyone. They realize Candle Knight's remains still hold strong thunder power, which does not match her report of a yang user. Both leaders kneel to study the charged remains, and Su Changyin sees the thunder power as top tier. Dongsu guesses two high-level pioneers must have worked together, one using fire and one using thunder, but Su Changyin knows the truth is harder to believe, as she has seen one person use both golden fire and blue lightning. The burned serpent shows yang flame, and Candle Knight's body holds thunder, leaving both teams in disbelief about what kind of powerful pioneer can hold two top-level powers. When association reinforcements arrive, Su Changyin is relieved she has left people outside, knowing the rescue team comes expecting to collect bodies. Her two poisoned teammates wake and rush to her in relief, and the mission turns into an investigation. Scans show with 99% certainty that one person has killed both monsters, and the leaders and teams are stunned that a single pioneer with two top-tier powers has saved them so easily. Su Changyin reports to her superior that the university pioneer and tyrant are the same person, and her boss tells her to pause contact because the pioneer has saved lives and is not an enemy, and because he and Captain Han disagree, they do not want to anger a powerful ally. She adds that on the back mountain she senses a weapon-like aura from him, once thought unlikely, but now possible since he has two high-tier powers. The superior doubts a lone pioneer can have a rare spiritual weapon and says they find no third energy trace, but Su Changyin clarifies the weapon aura feels like yang energy from the user. The superior realizes this means the weapon might be created by the user, pointing to the mythical spirit creation realm, which is extremely rare, and worries that if a third attribute exists it could upset the balance of power, though the lack of a third trace might be good news. He ends the call hoping such power will never turn against humanity. Back home, Fang Yi showers and dries his clothes with yang energy, thinking about how monsters and anomalies are increasing even before the full spiritual revival, how many self-trained pioneers have already reached one-star Ghost Axe realm, and how the government and wild pioneers are cautiously testing each other in a brief period of uneasy peace. Standing in his room, Fang Yi thinks about Captain Han and Su Qingying and decides that for now monsters are still under control and there is no open conflict between pioneer groups. Though this peace feels fragile, he understands why the government has formed the Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association, but keeps it secret, trying to protect people and give quiet warnings without causing panic, since fear can destroy society faster than monsters. Even with his recent wins, Fang Yi feels the world is in danger because the government lacks the courage to openly begin the cultivation era. Knowing the truth can lead to chaos with such a large population, and current pioneers cannot fully stop the coming disaster. What worries him most is how fast the monsters are evolving, as the dark shadow-type creatures he fights work together to hunt pioneers and are smarter than normal beasts. Though still weaker than the true dark monsters he remembers that can destroy whole nations. He knows Su Qingying's team would have died without him, but he feels hope that the dark power might one day be usable when conditions are met. Reviewing his skills, he has golden sun breathing, divine thunder tempering, and the crimson flame blade, making him strong at the 3-star ghost axe realm, yet he knows it is still not enough. His phone then rings with a call from his aunt, who says his cousin is coming to study in the city and asks if she can stay with him for safety. Though he barely remembers her, he agrees and gives his address. As soon as Fang Yi ends the phone call, we see the cousin, Fang Hiju, messaging a friend, saying that she will be staying over at her cousin's. She then turns on the news and reads a rumor about disappearances in Death Town, linked to a pork beast challenge, which catches her interest, before her mother urges her to stay with her cousin for safety. The next day, under a bright sky, the young woman with long dark hair and glasses pulls her suitcase to Fang Yi's building, checks the map, and quietly says this must be the place. Outside the apartment, Lin Yiji sees Fang Yi come out with a bag and asks if he is her cousin. He is surprised and confirms her name, though he does not recognize her. After a short awkward pause, they go inside and make polite small talk on the couch. She says she is in the city for a summer camp, and he tells her to ask if she needs anything. He gives her the key to the room across from his, and goes to his own room. Lin Yiji feels relieved because he seems easygoing and will not pry. Fang Yi, however, senses a faint and strange spiritual aura from her, and guesses she is also a pioneer, thinking her summer camp story is a cover. In her room, Lin Yiji messages her martial arts vanguard team, saying her cousin seems harmless and will not interfere, and warns them that many powerful people are still hiding. She decides not to cultivate at home so he will not notice. 3 days later, Fang Yi finds living together makes cultivation hard, since she might appear suddenly, and his golden aura is too bright to hide. What troubles him most is her extreme kindness, like cooking dinner and refusing to let him wash dishes, which feels unusual. He chooses to play along so she might lower her guard and reveal her real goal. During dinner, her phone buzzes, and he excuses himself to his room. Lin Yi-cry answers the call and seriously confirms that the next great change will happen the next day at 3 in the afternoon, and that she will meet at the entrance of Yanghuo Town. Fang Yi overhears this through the wall, recognizes the town, and feels sure she is a pioneer. He watches quietly, confident she cannot sense him yet, and is impressed by her hidden strength. Though Lin Yi is only a middle school student, she has already reached the 2-star Ghost Axe realm and is close to another breakthrough, which makes Fang Yi think her great talent explains her odd behavior. He now knows her real reason for coming to the city, as the summer camp is only an excuse, and she has come for the coming great change of heaven and earth. He understands that every such change brings a chance to gain a new technique. While he does not know what power will appear this time, he decides he will take whatever shows up. In her room, Lin Yi suddenly feels uneasy, as if someone is watching her, but seeing only the moonlit mountains outside, she brushes it off and keeps preparing. The next day, in Yanghuo Town, at the entrance, Lin Yi meets a friend who teases her about her cousin, asking if he is handsome, to which Lin Yi says he is kind but ordinary, disappointing her friend. Just then, a red-haired woman named 81 arrives and reminds them that Lin Yi herself always says she is ordinary, then says it is time to act. A man then asks about another member, and the redhead says only 6 of them are coming, since that person is always mysterious. Nearby, Fang Yi watches from a cafe balcony with his sword, sensing their strength with the weakest at 2-star and 1 man at 3-star. Moreover, he thinks about the mysterious person that didn't come and join their team. His focus then shifts to the mountains, where he feels the real event is about to happen. High in the mountains, a great change appears as a huge green vine falls from the clouds like a fairy tale beanstalk, something that is not really destructive but very important for the pioneers to understand the world. Deep in the misty mountains, Lin Yui's team sees the pulsing vine, and their leader confirms it is their target, but fear spreads when one member turns pale and warns them not to go closer, saying past pioneers who touched such a vine died and their bones were twisted inside the vine's roots. As panic takes hold, the scene around them changes, and the mountain path vanishes as they find themselves trapped inside a sort of red cavern. The vision of their deaths is only a frightening warning. And back on the misty mountain path, the adventurous friend is still shaken by fear, saying that even though she has come ready to risk her life, the moment she sees the vine, her heart fills with terror and tells her this is a new, unknown, high-level monster she cannot face. She cries that she does not want to die there and wants to leave. 81 and Lin Yi understand and say they have felt the same heavy pressure from the vine. Lin Yi explains that the vine feels empty, like all life has been drained from it, and that this lifeless feeling is why they are scared, leading them to realize the vine is trying to take their life force. Lin Yi then holds her friend's hand and says this is the path of a martial pioneer, and they have to face danger. From a nearby cliff, Fang Yi watches and feels the thick, deathly energy from the vine, noting that besides pure dark power, this vine gives him the worst feeling. He sees it as a dead plant stained with the blood and bodies of past victims. Lin Yi takes charge and tells her team to sense the monster's energy from far away instead of getting close. She climbs into a high tree, meditating inside a blue energy shield. Fang Yi observes from afar and approves of the safe distance, impressed by Lin Yi's judgment. As she cultivates, the energy around her surges, and Fang Yi realizes she is breaking through to the 3-star Ghost Axe realm, which she soon achieves in a bright blue flash, leaving her teammates amazed. The surge of energy wakes the vine, and its roots glow green as the ground shakes and tendrils burst out racing toward them. 2 men are trapped by the fast vines, while the others run as their friends shout for them to escape. The leader realizes Lin Yi's breakthrough has drawn the monster's attention. As dark green tendrils wrap around Lin Yi's weakening shield, the leader knows they must not be caught, because once wrapped, the vine's deathly aura will kill them. Lin Yi's shield begins to crack, and chaos spreads as 81 tries to pull her frightened teammate away, while the girl cries that they cannot leave Lin Yi behind. The leader shouts that she cannot waste her own precious energy to protect Lin Yi and die for her. She pushes aside a male teammate who coldly says they should leave and accept fate, and his words make her furious. She swears she will not abandon her friend. From the cliff, Fang Yi sees Lin Yi trapped in meditation and still weak, with vines crushing her shield, and he knows he has to act. Remembering his promise to his aunt, he leaps down as 81 kicks one vine free, but is then bound by many more. Lin Yi's shield finally shatters, and before the plant can kill them, Fang Yi strikes, sending 2 bright golden arcs from his sword. A huge phoenix-shaped blast smashes the vines, and he lands in a pillar of golden flame, saving both Lin Yi and the leader as the vine recoils from his overwhelming yang power. The tendrils hiss and melt as they pull back, and the pioneers shield their eyes from the blinding light. 81 recognizes the pure yang attribute, and knows only such high power can drive back the life-draining monster. The male teammate who wanted to flee feels bad now, realizing that even at 3-star Ghost Axe realm he cannot compare to this stranger's strength. As Fang Yi stands in golden light, his system detects the vine's extreme wood attribute and finishes creating a new technique called Endless Vitality, which absorbs nearby life force to heal him, and green energy surges around his body. As Fang Yi absorbs the last power of the strange vine, his system confirms he has taken its main attribute called Desolation, a power that can create a dead aura that kills all life nearby. Green energy swirls around him, and when he opens his eyes, they glow green like the vine as he stands in a lifeless clearing. He understands that if the vine grows closer to people, it will drain all life for miles. 81, hurt but alive, comes to thank him and asks how to repay him, but he waves it off and says there is no need, then turns and leaves. In his heart, he knows he has gained more from the chance than they have. He leaps away, thinking their broken team will not survive the dangerous future. Meanwhile, all 3 of them watch him go, and the man blames the girl for not saving this guy earlier. With danger gone and Lin Yi now at the 3rd tier, 81 decides they must stay together. Soon, Lin Yi wakes with blue light in her eyes, and her team rushes to her, relieved. The man who wants to leave her now says their fate depends on the leader, while another says they should think about the man who saves them. Lin Yi asks what happens, and notices others are still unconscious, then feels the hot yang power left on a nearby tree, and the male teammate explains everything. Later, back at Fang Yi's building, Lin Yi keeps thinking about the powerful man who drove the vine away with ease. She enters the apartment and sees Fang Yi waiting, who asks if she is okay. She forces a smile and blames her tired look on studying. He tells her to rest and offers to order food. In her room, she collapses on the bed, exhausted from the breakthrough but relieved she is no longer ordinary. She knows this dangerous life is now her fate, and that Yang Fi's calm life is no longer possible for her. As she rests, a new message appears in her Pioneer group chat from the usually absent strong member, Garan. Garan sends a short message asking to be told if there are any new signs of the powerful man. This is the first time he speaks in the group, so Lin Yi notices at once and agrees, then asks if the man who saves them can be the same one from the Dark River Lava Dragon event and why he would help them. The chat fills with talk about the high-level Yang Master, describing his bright sun-splitting slash that forces a witness out of a cave with white-hot light, and warning that no pioneer in the country can match him and that people should stay away. That night, Fang Yi rides his bike out, sure his cousin now trusts him and will not question him, and he has a new goal, to find a carrier for his desolation power. Since the power suits plants best, he goes to the forest park. He knows putting this dark power on his own body might cause harm and clash with his thunder power, so he wants a plant like the strange vine. He believes the vine was once a normal plant that changed when it felt spiritual energy. He follows a sign to the park and walks into the woods. Under the full moon, he spreads green spiritual energy over the plants and waits for a strong response. Most plants answer weakly, but one small white flower with a glowing center reacts strongly, swaying as if calling to him. He touches it, and the petals close on his finger and drink his energy, then open again as if happy. Seeing its strong response, he knows this is the right carrier. He kneels, smiles, and chooses it, then releases a swirl of green energy into the flower. The system asks if he wants to force the desolation attribute into the plant, and with green light in his eyes, he agrees. A bright light bursts out as the flower begins to change into a larger and more complex form. The process ends with a bright green flash, and Fang Yi suddenly feels a strong rush of power inside his body. The small white flower changes into a lotus-shaped plant with thick, bright green leaves that all glow with light. At the same time, it sends out a huge wave of desolation energy. The forest around him loses all life within seconds. The trees dry up and die, and the ground turns into dust as the power spreads very quickly. Fang Yi is shocked by how cruel and dangerous this power is, and he knows he must leave at once before this strange disturbance brings the association to this place. He pulls the glowing plant out of the ground and walks away, also noticing that the park is being watched and is kept empty on purpose. To his surprise, the plant keeps taking in energy from the air and stays strong even after being pulled out of the soil. He understands that the desolation power has opened a path for the plant to grow into something far greater than any normal plant. Just as he is about to leave the area, loud alarms ring through the park, warning that the abnormal values have become too high. Far away in a control room, alarms also start sounding, and the staff quickly move to seal off the park. A team wearing protective suits enters the dead forest and sees that the readings reach 30, which is far higher than any past incident. They find that the air and the light are normal, yet all the plants have died within seconds. When one person tries to move closer, a senior researcher stops him and warns him that the remaining energy in the area is the desolation attribute. He asks if they know about the skyvine, the A-level mutation, and shows them its ghost-like image, explaining that its deadly power comes from desolation, which drains all life nearby and turns the land into a dead zone. The younger researcher freezes in fear, realizing he almost stepped into certain death. The researchers then remember another plant like this in Shai Country, an old rotten tree in a restricted area of Kang City that kills any life that goes near it. As they look at the dead forest, they understand that plant mutations in this new era are extremely dangerous, and that the desolation attribute is the strongest power a plant can awaken. Now there are 3 such beings: the ancient tree, the skyvine, and this new one. Their discussion suddenly stops when Captain Han arrives with his soldiers. He orders everyone to wear advanced suits and enter the dead zone. Together with Su Qingying, they scan the area and discover that the desolation energy is fading quickly, dropping to 25, and there is no moving source like the skyvine. Following the trail of energy, they reach one single point and freeze in shock. The source has been dug up and taken away. A researcher cannot believe it, but Captain Han says anyone who can steal the source from a dead zone is extremely important. Su Qingying then shows data proving one person's movements match this event, and another mutation. The file shows Fang Yi. The Major confirms Fang Yi is likely the same pioneer she knows, and says the rest is for the association. Later, Fang Yi puts the desolation flower into a small pot at home, names it Obedient Little White Flower, and says it will grow strong on its own and help him in fights while staying hidden from Lin Yi. His phone rings with a call from his old friend Wang Liang, who invites him for a drink and says he has a big secret. Fang Yi agrees, not knowing it is a trap. After the call, Wang Liang reports to a stern-looking lady with a scarred face with Su Qingying present, saying he has followed orders and asking that Fang Yi be kept safe if he is innocent. The lady coldly tells him to do his job and says if Fang Yi is the wrong person, then Wang Liang should give his friend a word of advice. At a quiet bar, Fang Yi and Wang Liang clink their beers and talk after 3 years apart, and Fang Yi sees his friend has grown more serious from army life. Wang Liang shares his service stories, then asks about Fang Yi, who says he is fine and studying in college. Fang Yi thinks of his past life, where he never sees Wang Liang again, and believes he dies in war, and he hopes to change that fate this time. Wang Liang then asks if Fang Yi has seen strange things like monsters. Fang Yi feels tested and plays dumb, asking what he means. Wang Liang warns him that soon money, school, and status will mean little because the world order will change. Fang Yi understands the army is testing him through his friend, yet Wang Liang is also trying to protect him. Suddenly, Wang Liang gets an urgent call, ordering him back to duty in 10 minutes. and he stands up to leave. Fang Yi stops pretending, grabs him, and says he knows the mission is about the spiritual energy revival and wants to go. He says he trusts Wang Liang and wants to see what the army is facing, since the association handles monsters. Wang Liang agrees and takes him to a heavily guarded base in a mountain valley called Military Number 19, a restricted zone. Fang Yi feels the dense spiritual energy there is stronger than a normal pollution zone. Soldiers check them and lead Fang Yi inside through bright halls to a huge underground training field. Many soldiers fight a spiky monster, using some sort of blue energy to hold it back. The beast then fires a red beam that injures soldiers. Somewhere else, the lady officer watches. Fang Yi senses the creature has dark and flame powers mixed. The officer confirms this, saying the monster is very cruel and has badly hurt her people. Her name is then revealed as Ji Lan, a 3-star Ghost Axe Realm officer. Ji Lan then sees Wang Liang and shouts his name, making him stand straight at once. She angrily asks why he brought an outsider into a restricted area, then cuts him off and tells him to forget it because the fight is urgent and he has to join the team. She looks at Fang Yi and feels nothing special from him, only weak spiritual energy. So she stops thinking he might be the strong pioneer they want. She warns him that he is in a restricted zone, his life is his own risk, and he must keep everything secret. Fang Yi agrees. Ji Lan then takes command, lifts a huge energy cannon, and calls 2 soldiers. They rush the monster with blue energy while she fires a powerful shot that causes a big explosion, but the monster only grows angrier. Red light pulses through its dark body, its mouth grows larger, and its mutation worsens. It swings its claws. One soldier warns another, and though the blow is blocked, the force sends a man flying. Ji Lan orders the team to keep their distance and not be careless, knowing they have to stop it before it fully changes. Fang Yi admires their teamwork, but senses the monster's power rises fast and shouts for them to run. His warning is lost as the beast fires dark purple energy that throws soldiers away. Ji Lan raises the alert level, orders no retreat, and the monster finishes transforming into a huge demon covered in black and red flames. A soldier cries that the evil dog has fully mixed with dark power. The beast locks its burning red eye on Wang Liang, who freezes in fear. As it lunges, Ji Lan and Fang Yi realize he is about to die, and a soldier is thrown back and badly hurt. Ji Lan announces the creature is now a B-level threat. Fang Yi catches the injured man, who says the restraining collar explodes during the mutation. Ji Lan drops her cannon and orders her troops to stop the monster, even if it costs their lives. As they prepare to make a last stand, Fang Yi steps in front of her, ignores her shout, and blue lightning bursts from his hand as he joins the fight. Wrapped in blue lightning, Fang Yi mocks the monster and rushes forward, his arm filled with thunder as he strikes its head. The hit explodes with divine lightning and sends a shockwave that throws soldiers back. The soldiers are stunned, knowing even their commander cannot defeat this B-level monster alone. Wang Liang asks Ji Lan if Fang Yi is really the person they suspect, and she confirms he is the tyrant. Fang Yi stands calmly before the burning, injured beast and tells Ji Lan and Wang Liang to step back. Ji Lan watches in shock, thinking how her whole team needs formations to face such a threat while he fights alone. She knows his thunder attribute is the strongest she has ever seen, and that he is already a top pioneer in the country, with even greater potential after the revival. As Fang Yi raises his hand, thunder gathers in the sky, forming a huge storm. Ji Lan feels fear at how strong he can become. Fang Yi steps forward and releases his full power, and a giant pillar of blue lightning strikes the monster, living up to his name, the Tyrant. The light fades and the soldiers shake, saying the thunder's power is far worse than the monster's dark force. When the dust settles, Fang Yi gives Wang Liang a thumbs up and says the danger is over. Wang Liang rushes to him in relief, punches his shoulder and laughs in shock at his strength. He apologizes for suspecting him before, saying he has to follow orders. Fang Yi tells him not to be formal, and says he understands. Ji Lan thanks Fang Yi and shakes his hand, introducing herself as the warden of Restricted Area 19. She asks for his contact to file a report, and he agrees. She then invites him to join the army, saying his strength surpasses many special pioneers, but admits her offer is not enough. She says High Command will come to invite him in person later. Fang Yi laughs softly and says there is no need to be so formal, adding that he truly respects them because it takes real courage to risk their lives for others. Seeing soldiers fight for the first time moves him. Ji Lan thanks him quietly. Fang Yi then says that if they ever face trouble again, they can call on him for help, just as they protect ordinary people, but he asks that they never interfere with his cultivation or limit his freedom. Ji Lan is surprised by his condition. As it is late, Fang Yi says he will leave, and Ji Lan agrees, explaining they still have to deal with the monster's body and will arrange his return. As he leaves, Fang Yi understands the military's role in this new era. They stay in dangerous, energy-rich zones to train and to guard the normal world from monsters. After he goes, Ji Lan tells Wang Liang that Fang Yi is far beyond impressive, and that what they see is only a small part of his true strength, a rare mix of talent, courage, and luck. Wang Liang offers to help recruit him as a friend, but Jilan knocks his head and tells him to get back to work. That night, Fang Yi meditates on his roof in a golden glow, thinking that he has only shown his thunder power to the military, and that their respect means they will try to recruit, not threaten him. He sees how the military guards restricted zones while the association protects cities, a plan that buys time for society. As he absorbs rich energy, power surges in him, and he feels a breakthrough coming. On the street below, Lin Yi looks up and sees a huge pillar of golden light from her building, far stronger than a normal breakthrough, and stares in shock, thinking another powerful pioneer has appeared in the city. On the street, Lin Yui looks up at the sky in shock as a huge wave of golden power gathers inside the clouds, far stronger than any Ghost Axe realm power she has ever known. She quickly understands that a spirit creation realm pioneer is nearby, and this thought fills her heart with fear and worry. Far away in a command center, loud alarms begin to ring as the anomaly value suddenly rises to 99, causing the leaders there to panic, thinking that a god-level pioneer or a massive disaster has appeared, until a report comes in to confirm that it is only a pioneer breaking through to a higher realm. On the rooftop, Fang Yi finishes his breakthrough into the one-star spirit creation realm and feels much lighter in his body, although he does not feel much stronger than before. He then receives a message from Wang Liang, warning him about a new pollution zone at Qingcheng University, where the same heat anomaly has appeared again in the form of a huge fire. Fang Yi replies that he already knows about it and warns Wang Liang not to leak any sources, then promises to be careful and keep his hidden powers secret. Liang Yi comes back home carrying food, sees Fang Yi looking at his phone, and thinks that he is lazy and carefree, not knowing anything about the danger that pioneers face, and she quietly decides that she will protect him if any trouble comes. In truth, Fang Yi is carefully watching the video of the fire, noticing that it burns very fast and with great force, and he thinks it might be another form of the Yang attribute, even worse than the one before. He decides to go and see it with his own eyes, and plans to contact Ji Lan so he can enter the sealed area. The next day, many reporters gather outside Qingcheng University, blocked by soldiers and loudly asking questions about the unstoppable fire. Ji Lan arrives with Fang Yi, and the soldiers open the gates for them at once, leaving the reporters shocked as the two walk into the locked area and look over the burned remains of the playground. Fang Yi looks down at the burned ground and asks if this strange fire is called Heavenly Fire, and Ji Lan confirms the name, explaining that it appears suddenly, cannot be put out, and only stops after burning everything it chooses. After checking the area, Ji Lan goes to the principal's office, leaving Fang Yi alone near the taped-off zone. Fang Yi touches the cold soil and finds no remaining spiritual energy, which means he cannot collect this attribute. Just then, his ex-girlfriend Chu Qingli comes over with a friend and asks why he is there. Her friend laughs at him, saying he must still like Chu Qingli and should give up because he no longer fits into her life, while other students whisper to each other, thinking he is just another admirer who should not even be inside the campus. The friend warns him to leave and threatens to report him. Chu Qingli feels conflicted and thinks he has only pretended not to care before. Chu Qingli returns and asks if the girl is his friend. Fang Yi calmly says they are only high school classmates. Chu Qingli accepts this and tells Fang Yi that the Heavenly Fire case is more complex and the principal will take them to the fire's starting point, adding that Fang Yi is needed as a military consultant. Soon the principal arrives with officials and orders the area sealed. To everyone's shock, the principal walks straight to Fang Yi, shakes his hand with respect, and thanks him for coming to help, even bows slightly and places him in charge of the playground matter. Students are stunned as security pushes them back, and whispers spread that Fang Yi must have a powerful identity. Meanwhile, Chu Qingli stands frozen as her view of him shatters, hearing people say that even if she tries to approach him now, he might not notice her, while Fang Yi never once looks her way. At Qingcheng University's North District, the principal leads Fang Yi and Ji Lan to the fire site and says that after the Golden Sun event, several fires have appeared on playgrounds, including one he sees as a red flame falling from the sky, and one that cannot be put out, and the last fire burns on a basketball hoop with an endless flame. Ji Lan checks her wrist device and shows Fang Yi the reading of 11, explaining that anything over 10 is already a disaster level that requires a full lockdown. The number suddenly jumps to 60, and she warns that if it keeps rising, it can threaten the whole city, so elite pioneers are needed. Before they can move, Fang Yi jumps over the fence into the flames. The reading shoots up to 110, upgrading the anomaly to S level, and the principal panics. Ji Lan can only stare, saying even restricted zone soldiers do not enter alone. Inside the fire, Fang Yi is not harmed because his Yang power protects him, but this protection stops him from touching the source, so he turns it off and endures the burning pain to reach the core that wraps around the hoop like a fire dragon. When he touches it, his system activates and detects the Heavenly Fire attribute. Though in pain, he decides to take the power. The system finishes compiling a new technique called the Nine Dragons Heavenly Fire Sealing Technique, meant to seal evil. The wild flames come under his control and coil around his arm like a tame dragon. He then begins absorbing the heavenly fire attribute into his body, and his eyes glow red and fiery marks appear on his face. With his hands forming a seal, he calls out the technique, and glowing red chains burst from his back into the flames. Outside the fence, Jai Lan and the principal watch in shock as Fang Yi uses sealing power they recognize from high-level military techniques. With one order, he pulls the red chains back, forcing all the wild heavenly fire into a small sealed ball that floats back to the burning hoop. He lands and tells them the fire is sealed for now, and warns them not to open the area or let anyone near it, which will stop the fire from spreading. The principal agrees and says the playground will stay closed since the school has many others. Jai Lan stares at Fang Yi in silence. When the principal leaves them alone, she tells Fang Yi to stop pretending and admits she is talking about his true strength, not the heavenly fire. She says powerful pioneers often hide secrets, and then warns him that after the full spiritual revival, people like him will be as important as weapons of war, and every major force will rush to recruit him with huge offers. She advises him to think ahead so he will not be surprised. Fang Yi asks why she and Wang Liang act like they are not worthy to recruit him. She explains there is a legendary top unit that is far stronger and likely the place he will choose. She says they are very busy dealing with serious threats. As they walk to the cafeteria, Fang Yi realizes even the strongest forces are under pressure, meaning terrible anomalies are already appearing, and spirit creation pioneers like him are fighting them. He feels time is short and he is still not ready. He then focuses on the heavenly fire he has taken, and he sees it as a wild flame that destroys everything and will be perfect against enemies that can heal or multiply. He suddenly thinks of using this power on his Crimson Flame Blade, knowing it will greatly strengthen his attacks. Fang Yi goes to the back mountain to test his new power and finds a big warning sign blocking the path, saying the area is dangerous. He guesses the Spiritual Energy Association has closed it for him and decides to accept the favor. Soon, he senses an intruder with an aura like the one in the factory, and a smart monkey monster with red eyes watches him from the trees. Fang Yi chooses to test his new skill, and the system asks if he wants to put the heavenly fire attribute into his Tang sword. He agrees, and the blade bursts into endless flames. He uses his Crimson Flame Blade with heavenly fire and sends a huge firestorm at the monster, and the power is much stronger than before, and the flames do not hurt him. The beast survives and tries to flee, so Fang Yi chases it. In the forest, a streamer girl is filming live and boasting about her luck, and viewers dare her to go film the heavenly fire at the university. Suddenly, the fleeing monster attacks her, knocking her phone away while the stream continues, and viewers think it is fake, but she is pinned and about to be bitten. A fire dragon blast hits the monster and throws it back, and she looks up and sees Fang Yi standing inside the flames without harm. Shaking, she films him and believes she has been saved by an immortal. The clip goes viral with over 13.5 million views, calling him the Heavenly Fireman and King of Flames. In an office, Chu Qingli's friend excitedly shows her the video and says it proves cultivators are real. Chu Qingli says it is fake effects, but when she looks closely, she freezes in shock, seeing the man looks just like Fang Yi. Chu Qingli tells herself the man in the video cannot be Fang Yi, because real heavenly fire would have burned him to ash, but her doubt quickly turns into fear as she wonders if it truly is him. She worries he might use his power to take revenge for their breakup, yet she stubbornly decides she will never bow to him. Elsewhere, 81 shows Lin Yi the same video and asks if the man looks familiar. Lin Yi agrees he seems like the one who saved them from the vine, then reveals that a master who reaches the spirit creation realm lives near her home, making her wonder if Fang Yi could be that person. In another place, Xiao Ya and Li Yu recognize Fang Yi's stance and blade work, realizing they once stood beside someone far stronger than they knew. The news reaches both major organizations, where officials admit their pioneers are struggling. Su Qingying says the military is already in close contact with Fang Yi, and she believes he will help them. In the military command center, Ji Lan and Captain Han are shocked by his fast growth and agree they must recruit him, not threaten him, while ordering support, gear, training sites, and control of the viral rumors. In a hospital room, Ji Lan sits beside her unconscious teacher and tells him that Xiao Nation has found new hope, and that this hope's arrival has raised the chances that the teacher might wake. The next morning, Fang Yi eats breakfast and notes the viral video has been removed and the streamer banned, then grows worried when Lin Youyi does not come home or answer calls. Deep in a foggy forest, Lin Youyi and 81 are lost for about 10 hours, injured and low on strength. The leader blames herself. Lin Youyi urges her to stay alert and save energy, and as Lin Youyi wishes for even a fraction of that master's power, a huge shadow monster with red eyes rises behind them. The shadow monster jumps from the fog at 81, and Lin Youyi pushes her away while shouting a warning, then fires bright blue energy that cuts off the creature's head. More shadow figures come out of the mist, and Lin Youyi realizes they are the reanimated bodies of people who have died here, while the real monster stays hidden and turns victims into puppets. The leader says their attacks cannot hurt the mist, and their strength is being drained. Lin Yui sees they are trapped in an illusion where the enemy is waiting for them to grow weak. The sky tears open and a huge blood-red eye appears, then splits into many smaller eyes. The leader slashes at them in panic, while Lin Yui warns the monster is changing. A red blast shatters Lin Yui's barrier, leaving her alone as shadow tendrils drag her into darkness. She feels regret, thinking she will never see the coming era. At the last moment, blue lightning tears the dark apart, and Fang Yi bursts in, saying he almost arrives too late, then smashes the domain with thunder and lands, saving Lin Yui and her unconscious leader. As Lin Yui stares in shock at Fang Yi, a multi-eyed fleshy orb appears behind him. Fang Yi lights his hand with heavenly fire and burns it with his crimson flame blade, ending it with a final scream. The leader wakes inside a ring of fire and thinks they are dead. Lin Yui tells her they are alive and safe. Fang Yi walks over, says it is solved, and jokes about breakfast. The leader suddenly recognizes him as the man who saves them in Yanghu town from the death vine. Lin Yui is stunned to learn the Fire Master is her cousin. The leader asks how such a supermaster can be the ordinary cousin Lin Yui had described, while Fang Yi smiles awkwardly as she reminds Lin Yui he defeated the Desolation Vine with one strike. Lin Yui finally understands that Fang Yi is the actual powerful fire user, but she is shocked because she just saw him use pure thunder to destroy the dark mist, which means he has 2 high-grade attributes, making him a rare genius. She then remembers the huge spiritual wave in her neighborhood and realizes the spirit creation breakthrough might also have been his. Fang Yi calmly confirms everything before asking why they face the dark anomaly alone and where their teammates are. 81 explains one teammate is sick and another is on a hard mission. Lin Yui then admits that she became reckless after her breakthrough and thinks she can handle it. Fang Yi notices the leader now defends her team and sees their hidden problems. He then asks both of them to team up with him. The leader is overjoyed at the chance to work with such a strong master, while Lin Yui feels deep relief knowing Fang Yi has been quietly protecting her. She thanks him with a tearful smile and promises to cook extra eggs for him. Lin Yui then gets a mission alert from Sister Ji Lan about a high-risk collection task in the extreme dark zone linked to dark attribute energy. She explains this restricted border area leaks dark power into the city and is too dangerous even for the government to explore deeply. Fang Yi suggests joining and asks her to request details. Though Ji Lan is usually silent, she replies with rare detail that the goal is to collect a lost marsh flower, the rewards are high, the dangers are dark attribute threats, and teams are required. She then warns an S-level anomaly may be involved, and hints that if they have a strong partner, they should still join. Elsewhere, Ji Lan sees the message and thinks her part is done. Back in the park, Fang Yi understands the hidden meaning as a personal challenge meant for him, so he decides to accept and go to the extreme dark zone. Lin Yi, using her online name Feng Heiju, accepts the mission and tells Ji Lan her team has 3 people. The scene then shifts to a hospital, where Ji Lan walks with 2 helpers who worry the team is too small, but Ji Lan calmly says that if the pioneer the nation can trust truly exists, he will come, and if he does not, then it means their fate is not meant to be. With a quiet smirk, she explains the mission is not really to send strong pioneers to die, because the marsh flower grows from a dark pool made from fallen bodies and souls, and getting it is the only way to save more pioneers in the long run. She says the real goal is to protect the new generation like Fang Yi's team, who are shown traveling by subway, and also to revive the strongest fighters who already fall. They reach her teacher's room, and she holds his hand and says they must get more marsh flowers at any cost, revealing he is the only pioneer in the Shay nation to reach the Jinggang realm and that the flower is the only thing that can wake him. She explains that after full spiritual revival, such a person is like a nuclear weapon for the nation, so even losing squads is worth it. A helper worries about Ji Lan's health, which makes her angry and sad because her life is saved by her fallen teammates. She calms down, says her headache can wait, and remembers her old team with pain. A memory shows her younger self in the extreme dark zone, kneeling by dead comrades, as her dying captain gives her his power and tells her to live and finish the mission. But later she learns the flower cannot be touched by blood, so their sacrifice still fails. After a long trip, Fang Yi's team reaches the guarded edge of the extreme dark zone, passes tanks and fences, sees a blue barrier, and feels the heavy dark aura. 81 says it is far more terrifying than the monster they fight before. Fang Yi tells them to stay calm and points out that many other pioneers have already gathered at the checkpoint, waiting to enter. Lin Yi says they are not only here for rewards because dark attribute power is cruel and hard to fight, and with more dark monsters entering cities, pioneers now know they must face the source or the cities will fall. 81 agrees, and Fang Yi smiles at Lin Yi's sharp thinking as they see many different pioneers with strange gear waiting for the gate to open. Fang Yi explains that he has faced dark monsters before, first the mutated rabbit-like beast, and then the serpent and candle knight, who work together and almost wipe out an association squad. He says the key problem is that these creatures keep slipping past border defenses, which means they must be using a hidden method, so the source in the extreme dark zone can no longer be ignored. Near the barrier, Captain Su Qingying is briefing pioneers when she suddenly sees Fang Yi with Lin Yi and 81 and panics. However, Fang Yi notices her and calls her name, so she walks over with her Yang squad. 81 teases Fang Yi by calling Su Qingying as Lin Yi's sister-in-law, making both women flustered. Fang Yi calmly explains she is Captain Su from the association, which only embarrasses her more. Then an older pioneer scolds them for being rude and joking in such a dangerous place. 81 talks back, causing tension until an armored vehicle arrives and Jilan steps out. All the pioneers recognize her famous presence as she walks to the huge blue barrier. Fang Yi understands she is there to open the gate. As she forms a glowing symbol and pushes it forward, the energy wall splits open, revealing the entrance into the restricted zone. When the barrier opens, Jilan stands by the dark gate with energy around her and warns that the lost blooms must be picked whole and clean, without any human blood, or there will be no reward. Then she orders them to enter, and the pioneers walk into the portal. One man complains that Jilan is not going in herself, but his teammate tells him to be quiet and reminds him that their families will be paid if they die. Su Qingying quietly tells Fang Yi that the arrogant pioneer, Elder Wu, is also a one-star spirit creation cultivator like him, while several others are hiding their strength, and the rest are strong ghost axe pioneers, showing how dangerous the mission is. Outside, Jilan's helper reports that many ghost axe and spirit creation pioneers have entered, and that the zone holds B to S level monsters, and Jilan calmly tells her to prepare monitoring. Inside the zone, Fang Yi warns his team to stay close because the dark mist blocks vision and can separate them. 81 leader becomes sick and vomits from the terrible smell of rot and decay, which Su Qingying says is normal, and that even other teams are affected. She explains that the dark attribute pollutes pioneers and makes monsters stronger, turning normal B-level threats into at least A-level dangers, and warns that even spirit creation elites have died here. Lin Yi asks if Su Qingying feels her strength being suppressed, and she confirms it is much worse in this place, and says they must be careful. Su Qingying leads them forward, telling them to talk less, move faster, and focus their energy to resist the mist. Fang Yi notices he feels less discomfort, and guesses his yang and thunder power resisted the dark energy. Nearby, Elder Wu's team fights easily, and laughs at the danger. Lin Yi still feels sick, so Fang Yi gently sends warm spiritual energy into her back, and her nausea fades as she feels the comforting heat of his power. Lin Yi compares her wood power to Su Qingying's water power that can turn into ice, and Fang Yi corrects her, saying his warmth comes from the yang attribute, not fire. He apologizes for not explaining earlier, also admitting he caused the Northgate incident and the university fire, which shocks 81, who asks if he has 3 high-grade powers. He briefly confirms while keeping his desolation power secret. 81, cold and weak, asks him to warm her too, and he agrees, placing his hand on her shoulder and sending warm energy through her, making her gasp in relief. When Su Qingying sees this, she and her 2 teammates also accept his help and feel the same warmth. Their relief ends when heavy footsteps come through the mist, and Fang Yi warns that a monster is near as a shadow wolf rushes out. Su Qingying forms a blue blade and strikes, making the beast vanish, but Fang Yi sees it as a trick and shouts for everyone to watch the ground as shadow hands burst up and trap them while zombie puppets close in. Fang Yi tells them to fall back, draws his sword, and releases a huge wave of fire that burns the horde away, explaining that only 2 monsters have controlled the puppets, which shocks Su Qingying because the creatures can now copy human speech after eating many people. The group realizes even weak monsters here have grown to A-level and are deadly to anyone below spirit creation. From far away, Jilan watches and admits Fang Yi kills 2 A-level phantoms in one strike. Lin Yi urges everyone to stay together because the monsters can hide and trick them, while 81 is shaken by Fang Yi's heavy aura. Then a deep roar like waves rolls over the land, the ground shakes, other teams flee in fear, and a man screams for his partner to run from the evil tide. Ahead, Fang Yi, Su Qingying, and Lin Yi see a huge storm of dark energy filled with red eyes and monsters sweeping forward, swallowing everything, and Elder Wu's team is caught inside the legendary dark tide. As the dark tide rolls over the land and swallows screaming pioneers, Elder Wu mocks it and rushes in, raising a green barrier and claiming the zone for himself. But the moment he enters, dark tendrils wrap around him, and he realizes in terror that the monsters inside are far stronger than A or even S level, and he and many others are dragged into the darkness. From afar, Fang Yi's group watches in shock as 81 fears the others are dead. Su Qingying explains the dark tide is the highest form of the dark attribute, a wave of corruption that even eats monsters, and that the mission is meant to avoid this time, making her fear the teams ahead are lost. Lin Yi's remembers stories that the tide can destroy a city and begs Fang Yi to retreat, but he stays calm, raises a golden barrier with blue lightning to protect them, and says they can combine their power to survive. He then declares he will go destroy the tide. Before they can stop him, he shoots forward as fire and lightning into the storm, cutting a path through the chaos. Inside, Fang Yi floats unharmed in his golden aura and sees that the tide is an incubator that fuses and evolves many monsters from B to A to S level, making the whole threat at least SS level, which explains how it can swallow spirit creation pioneers. A fused beast attacks, and Fang Yi burns it away with one strike of his heavenly fire blade, realizing his new realm and weapon make such enemies easy to kill. Looking around, he sees Elder Wu still alive but being eaten by dark energy, struggling and not yet fully drained. Knowing the man still has a small chance to live, Fang Yi releases a huge blast of purifying thunder that shatters the dark mass and throws the man out of the tide. Standing over his fallen enemy, Fang Yi sees the man can still be saved, but only barely. At the same time, the dark energy twists again as the monsters he killed begin to reform, with a huge many-eyed creature rising from the darkness, making him realize the tide can endlessly remake its minions and that this power might belong to threats above S level. Seeing no end to it, Fang Yi chooses a far riskier plan and drops his protective aura on purpose, letting the dark tide cover him, so his system can sense the extreme dark attribute. But the system fails to take it, showing this power is still beyond him, even in the spirit creation realm. Knowing he cannot destroy the tide or absorb it, he searches for another way, and briefly regrets not bringing the desolation flower. Then he suddenly understands he already has a solution. Outside the tide, Lin Yi and the others watch from the golden barrier as the chaos goes strangely still, filling them with fear. Su Qingying holds Lin Yi's hands, telling her to focus her power to support the shield, and reminding her that Fang Yi is far stronger than them, and they can only trust him. Then a towering pillar of pure fire bursts out of the dark tide, pushing the darkness back. Fang Yi rises from the flames as he uses the 9 dragons' heavenly fire sealing technique, his body glowing blue and gold, while 9 huge fire dragons circle and crush the dark tide into one unstable orb. Watching from afar, Jilan recognizes the heavenly fire seal and cannot believe he has sealed something that can destroy a city. Fang Yi then wraps the fiery sphere with divine thunder, forming a roaring blue vortex, and calls out the 9 dragons' edict, as fire and lightning collide in a massive blast that shakes the zone, before he forces the energy to collapse inward and compress into a small bright orb of tightly sealed power. After Fang Yi's great attack, Elder Wu lies unconscious, and Fang Yi feels the danger has eased for now, thinking he has saved a life by chance, and wondering what to do with the man. Lin Yi runs to him in relief, and Su Qingying offers to have her team take the injured man back for treatment. Fang Yi tells them not to relax because the seal on the dark tide is only temporary, and the dark energy is still strong, so they have to hurry to find the lost bloom before the seal weakens. Su Qingying agrees as her team carries the man away. At a cliff, they see no other pioneers have survived, and 81 mourns their sudden deaths. While Fang Yi feels relieved he does not have to watch them die. Near a dark pool, Fang Yi tells the others to go on with Su Qingying while he stays behind to guard them. When he is alone, the system senses a strong dark fluctuation as energy rises around him and begins writing a new technique. Dark pillars lift him as the system finishes, and his eyes glow purple as he gains the dark attribute technique. Limitless dark domain, a domain that weakens spiritual energy inside it, which he sees will give him great advantage when combined with his other powers. As the energy settles, Su Qingying feels the dark mist reform and realizes with shock that Fang Yi has absorbed the dark tide's power. Something forbidden, because dark energy comes from deep evil and has driven past pioneers mad, or worse, even S-class threats devouring spirit creation cultivators. The dark energy then withdraws into Fang Yi, and he calmly calls out to the hidden watcher. Jilan appears from the mist, confirming he has sealed the dark tide, and asking if he has absorbed the dark attribute. Fang Yi calmly admits he has, shocking Su Qingying again. In a sudden move, Jilan pulls a gun and aims at Fang Yi's head, shocking everyone, as 81 shouts her name and Lin Yi freezes in fear. Su Qingying jumps in front of Fang Yi and blocks the weapon with her arm, demanding to know why Jilan would threaten someone both the military and the association want to recruit. Fang Yi calmly places a hand on Su Qingying's shoulder and asks Jilan why she seems eager to finish the mission, but unhappy that they have not died. 81 angrily accuses Jilan of standing by during the dark tide and now turning on the one who saves them. Jilan then lowers the gun with a smirk and says it is a test, praising how much Fang Yi is trusted. Fang Yi understands that she wants to judge his character herself instead of relying on reports. Jilan explains she does not help during the tide because pioneers live by harsh rules where life and death change fast, and adds that since Fang Yi shows such power, no monsters dare to come near them, as the strong are feared and the weak are bullied, a view Fang Yi agrees with. Jilan offers to lead them to the lost bloom. As they walk, Su Qingying quietly tells Fang Yi that Jilan is the only survivor when her own squad meets the dark tide, which helps him see that her cold obedience hides deep trauma and self-harm, even though a strong belief keeps her moving. Fang Yi tells his team to be kind to her and explains that her spiritual barrier is badly damaged, leaving her much weaker than she should be, which shows as she stumbles while walking. They reach the mass graveyard and see the bones of fallen pioneers. Soon, a single glowing lost bloom appears in a clearing, but the red-eyed monsters rise to guard it. Jilan walks forward in a trance, whispering to the flower, and Fang Yi senses she has lost control, so he quickly forms a ball of flame and throws it toward her to wake her. The fireball flies at Jilan, and she wakes from her trance just in time, recognizing it as the rare Yang attribute and knocking it aside, sending a shockwave through the air as she and Fang Yi face each other in tense silence, golden energy still glowing in his hand. Bad memories rush back to her, and she wonders if she is still not ready. Seeing she is awake, Lin Yi and Su Qingying hurry to her side, checking if she is fine and warning that the dark attribute is affecting her mind, so it is safer to stay together. Fang Yi steps forward and says it is enough if he goes alone to get the lost bloom. As he walks into the misty clearing, the ground shakes and a huge wolf-like monster appears, yet Fang Yi calmly uses divine thunder, sending lightning through it, realizing it is an S-class fox demon that has grown strong by consuming monsters. Knowing time is short, he decides to test his new power, releasing the limitless dark domain, which forms a purple domain that traps the monster, crushes it with shadowy tendrils, and downgrades it to B-class, letting Fang Yi finish it with one fiery slash. Outside, Su Qingying and Lin Yi sense this dark power feels different, and Jilan explains it is Fang Yi's own domain, a rare skill only her teacher and a few others can use. When the sphere fades, Fang Yi stands alone and says the area is safe, then carefully picks the lost bloom with its roots intact and tells them to leave at once because the sealed dark tide can return. Jilan finally relaxes, thanks Fang Yi sincerely for saving them and completing the mission, thanks the team as well, and says it is time to go. As they prepare to leave, Jilan stops to thank Fang Yi again and tells him the full truth, that Elder Wu, the Xia Nation's only King Kong realm pioneer, is near death, and that the lost bloom is the only medicine that can save him, meaning Fang Yi has just saved the life of the nation's strongest protector. Fang Yi quietly repeats the name of the King Kong realm while taking this in. When they come out of the extreme dark zone, red clouds fill the sky, and 81 cheers with relief, while Lin Yi feels thankful to see daylight again. A crowd of officials welcomes them, celebrating the success and admitting they doubted it at first. As they walk forward, Lin Yi notices a huge armored vehicle with elite soldiers, and 81 recognizes the symbol of the Star God Warzone, the strongest military force, feeling embarrassed for shouting at Jilan earlier when she realizes Jilan is from there. An official hands the lost bloom to Captain Han, who smiles and salutes Fang Yi with his soldiers, then promises Jilan he will send the flower to the hospital at once before leaving. Fang Yi asks Jilan if she is from the Star God Warzone, and she confirms it, saying news of his strength has spread and that he will soon be famous. She openly praises his power, invites him to join the Star God Warzone with the best resources, and says rewards will be given to his team and Su Qingying's squad. She then warns him about the growing danger of dark attribute anomalies spreading like a deadly tumor, and explains why forbidden zones must be guarded, saying she tells him because he deserves to know the truth, not to force him to join. Fang Yi promises he will not ignore future anomalies. Jilan finally smiles in relief, introduces herself properly, gives him a token marked with the Star God Warzone that grants free access to forbidden zones, and asks if he would like to go see Elder Wu. Fang Yi asks if she means the King Kong realm pioneer, and Jilan says yes, that he is her teacher, and she wants Fang Yi to meet him, saying it is her own wish, because she hopes to be his friend. Fang Yi accepts the token, puts it away and agrees to go with her, saying it is good to make friends. He then holds out a hand with blue lightning, and says he has a gift for her. Jilan is confused, and Fang Yi explains he can clean the dark poison from her body, then releases a wave of thunder that covers her. She is shocked to feel the pain fade as the cold poison is washed away, leaving her warm and light as the dark energy inside her is removed. When it ends, Fang Yi asks how she feels, and she says she feels great, and the dark power is gone. Su Qingying watches the medics treat the unconscious Elder Wu, and then notices Jilan's aura is stable and her injuries are gone. Jilan says Fang Yi's pure thunder has cleaned her body, which amazes Su Qingying because his power can both destroy and save. Su Qingying has an idea and asks Fang Yi to help their medical team treat dark corruption, bowing to ask him to show his power again. He releases a small wave of thunder as proof, which the medics say can fight dark power, though they warn that healing the arrogant pioneer will take much more energy and full recovery may not be possible. Fang Yi agrees to help and follows them to use a device to send his power. Lin Yuqi watches, amazed that Ji-lan is from the Star God War Zone and that her cousin is strong enough to earn their respect. Later, Fang Yi checks on Lin Yuqi and 81, and they say they will train on their own to grow stronger. He agrees and tells them to be careful. Su Qingying's team says goodbye, and Ji-lan tells Fang Yi it is time to go see Elder Wu. As the ambulance leaves, Su Qingying complains that the Star God War Zone has taken Fang Yi, and her team tries to calm her, while it is clear the association is disorganized, and its top squads do not work well together. Fang Yi goes with Ji-lan to a high-security hospital of the Star God War Zone and asks if Elder Wu is there. They then enter a room where Elder Wu lies unconscious, thin and weak, with veins on his face and neck and breathing with a machine. Ji-lan says he has looked like a corpse before, and that even after using the Lost Bloom, he has not woken up. Fang Yi wonders how such a powerful King Kong realm pioneer can end up like this. Ji-lan explains that a huge dark anomaly appeared over the capital, and Elder Wu stepped forward alone to stop it, while her squad sent him their spiritual energy. The threat was beyond S-level, taking the form of a dragon over the ruined city. She says that if it fell, the capital and nearby cities would be destroyed, so Elder Wu used his own domain to seal it. But the dark power backfired and corrupted his body, and only his King Kong realm strength kept him from being turned to ash. Fang Yi feels respect for him and remembers that in his past life many pioneers died to protect humanity, and he thinks Elder Wu likely died then, so he decides to help. When Ji-lan asks what he is doing, Fang Yi says he will try to remove the remaining dark power, places his hand on Elder Wu's chest, and sends blue lightning into his body to help him wake faster. Ji-lan warns that this dark power comes from an S-level disaster but allows him to try. Fang Yi feels the heavy dark force inside, even after the flower has weakened it, and suddenly dark energy bursts out and pushes them back. As Fang Yi raises his golden protection, the dark power pulls his mind into a vision of the ruined city and the giant eye of the anomaly. Inside the vision, a huge red eye fills the ruined sky and asks Fang Yi who he is, and he realizes his spirit is pulled into this illusion by the dark power inside Elder Wu, but he calmly says his name does not matter because he has come to destroy it. When the eye shoots spikes at him, he quickly uses his golden breathing to dodge, then blocks strange lightning that feels as strong as divine thunder. The anomaly shows its true form as a vast swarm of insect-like creatures around one red eye, each as strong as dark tide monsters, and tens of millions rush at him like a storm. Fang Yi draws his flaming sword and cuts through the swarm with one huge slash, splitting the central eye, and judges it to be an S-level collective anomaly that is weaker now, likely because this is an illusion and because the Lost Bloom has already weakened it. The two halves fall and shatter on the city ruins, and Fang Yi realizes this is the disaster Elder Wu faced alone. He then opens his limitless dark domain, and a dark vortex pulls in the remaining swarm, while the creature warns they will return. This makes him think other disasters like this may exist. As the vision breaks apart, Fang Yi returns to reality and pulls the last dark energy from Elder Wu's chest, forming a purple mass mixed with blue lightning. He seals it with the Nine Dragons' Heavenly Fire Sealing technique into a small fiery sphere and tells Ji-lan this is the last remnant of the city disaster, now weakened by the Lost Bloom and Elder Wu's seal. He praises Elder Wu for holding such power in his body, knowing others would have died. Ji-lan sees the veins fade and Elder Wu breathe more easily and thanks Fang Yi for saving him. Fang Yi says the flower makes it possible, and he then crushes the sealed dark sphere into dust, saying the remnant is now gone. Fang Yi tells Ji-lan that the dark remnant warned him it will return, so they must always be ready and not let Elder Wu, who has just recovered, fight again. Ji-lan says she has heard similar rumors from the military and the association, which tracks spiritual energy changes, claiming the nation might not survive even 1 year after full revival, though most people do not believe it. Fang Yi wonders if his rebirth has changed the future, remembering that in his past life, the world nearly ended within 3 years. He then comforts Ji-lan, says Elder Wu will wake soon, and promises that if disaster returns, he will stand with them and fight to change the ending. That night, Fang Yi meditates at home, feeling close to breaking into 2-star spirit creation after fighting S-level threats, yet knowing his power is still far from enough for what is coming. He notices his potted white flower, apologizes for leaving it behind, and decides to take it to train. He goes to the back mountain, sees the forest healing fast in this new era, and chooses a spot to plant the flower, reminding it to absorb slowly. The flower takes root and releases a huge green vortex that drains life from nearby trees, leaving the area dead within moments. Fang Yi stops it, lifts the glowing plant, and thinks its desolation power makes it at least A-level. As he walks away, the forest falls silent, the animals having fled, and a fierce wolf howl echoes. Under the blood-red moon, a pack of red-eyed wolves gathers on a cliff, their bodies changing as they begin a dangerous evolution. Fang Yi faces a pack of monster wolves and sees the huge wolf king on the cliff, whose evolution is almost done, and when it howls, its body finishes changing and glows with green energy. Holding his flower, Fang Yi feels the strong spiritual power and realizes the wolf king is about to become A-level. The pack quickly surrounds him to block escape, and he sees the wolf king has turned its wood attribute into a poison attribute after absorbing dark energy. He stays calm, saying it is only A-level, and takes out the white flower, plants it, and decides to let it deal with the wolves because the pack is large and the city below is in danger. As the Wolf King rushes him, he tells the flower to begin, and a huge green life-draining beam shoots into the sky, seen far away by another pioneer team. That team sees the Wolf King has evolved, and their device shows contamination at 90, shocking them. Dongsu says the Wolf King's wood power is at least 3-star ghost axe, maybe spirit creation, and his team is too small to fight it. When he sees the green beam and dark attribute, he realizes the Wolf King has 2 attributes, which is rare, and the reading jumps to 100, and he plans to call for backup. Then the ground shakes, and he knows another anomaly has appeared, and the reading jumps to 1,000 as a huge wave of green desolation energy bursts from the mountain. Another member recognizes desolation power, and the team panics, thinking of the giant vine disaster. Dongsu then orders retreat and evacuation of nearby people, but the desolation wave suddenly stops and pulls back into the mountain, and the team watches in shock, unsure if the danger has passed. Some pioneers far away wonder if they should still report the danger or go up the mountain. On the mountaintop, where Fang Yi plants his flower, thick green roots spread across the ground, and dozens of glowing white flowers grow from them, then burst with green energy and bloom into a huge shining flower shape. The power turns into a sea of white petals that fills the area. The Wolf King howls in anger as the soft petals become sharp blades that cut through the air. Fang Yi stands calmly in the storm of petals and explains that his spirit blossoms keeps growing back, absorbing and purifying enemies until nothing remains. Standing on the giant roots, he mocks the Wolf King, asking how its pack can survive without his protection. The smaller wolves are trapped by flowering vines, their life drained until only bones remain and fall to dust. After the pack is drained, the flowers turn deep red. The Wolf King fires a strong green blast, but the flower forms a shield and blocks it. Fang Yi says the desolation power of the flower has taken root in the mountain, drawing power from the mountain in an endless cycle. The Wolf King understands it is doomed, but still charges at the main flower. Fang Yi smiles and asks his flower what it will do. The giant flower grows larger, catches the Wolf King, and drains its life as its green energy is eaten by desolation power. Fang Yi is surprised that the flower can even take in dark energy. The Wolf King is fully consumed, and the flower spits out its clean skeleton. Fang Yi realizes the flowers can always grow back and turn any trapped enemy into bones, and he names this power Endless Spirit Sea. The system confirms the technique is written by the flower. The petals close and glow, one petal brushing Fang Yi's cheek. Then the flower surges with energy, and Fang Yi sees it is about to evolve. In a control room, alarms sound as an analyst reports an A-level anomaly with 2 different powers appearing in one place. While the Wolf King evolves and produces dark power, a strong desolation power also emerges. The superior asks for the location, and a technician points to an area once handled by Su Qing's team. The superior orders the destroyer squad to be dispatched. Soon a field call reports that the desolation wave has wiped out the A-level wolf pack, but the power has withdrawn back into the mountain, where many strange flower anomalies appear. The mountain now glows with a sea of flowers, and the squad warns that this unknown threat could be worse than the ghost vines, requesting support. The superior agrees to send 2 elite teams, but Su Qing says she believes the source is Fang Yi, since his home is there, and she trusts he will protect the area. On the back mountain, flowers blanket the land as Fang Yi watches his white flower grow enormous. And just as he expected after it devoured the Wolf King, it evolves again. The giant flower blooms, its center glowing gold, and Fang Yi realizes it has gained firepower. The plant then shrinks back to hand size with deep red petals, and a system notice announces it is now an A-level anomaly called the Desolate Fire Spirit Flower, with desolation and fire attributes. It desires to consume spiritual energy and can be placed in the limitless dark domain to grow. Fang Yi realizes he can raise it within his dark domain and possibly allow it to gain dark power as well. As he unfolds his dark domain, storm clouds gather, and he senses another breakthrough. He sits down to cultivate as a pillar of golden energy descends upon him, and he breaks through to 2-star spirit creation, feeling his power become far steadier. Far away, a muscular man senses the light, follows it, and upon seeing Fang Yi's past battle, vows to defeat this new 2-star fire pioneer to prove he is number 1. Back at his training spot, Fang Yi senses someone nearby and calls out. The man responds by throwing a massive fireball and asks if Fang Yi is a fire pioneer. Fang Yi calmly gathers dark energy and swallows the attack with his vortex, pleased that the hidden observer has finally revealed himself. He has already felt the man watching him for some time and knows he is a wild pioneer who enjoys challenging others and has just reached the spirit creation realm. The muscular man steps out, wreathed in flames, feels Fang Yi's pressure, and introduces himself as Jiang Lu, then demands to know how his attack failed. Fang Yi remains silent. Jiang Lu laughs, repeats his name, and charges forward in fire. Fang Yi raises 2 fingers and calmly uses Divine Thunder. A massive blue lightning bolt crashes down from the sky and strikes Jiang Lu directly. Jiang Lu is shocked by the thunder power, coughs up smoke, and struggles to stand with his body scorched and crackling with electricity, unable to understand how a fire user can wield thunder. Fang Yi stands over him as Jiang Lu drops to his knees, unable to move. Fang Yi grabs his hair and slams his head into the ground, shattering rock, then coldly tells him to repeat his name. Jiang Lu stares in disbelief, unable to accept that he has lost so quickly after just reaching 1-star spirit creation and before even using his strongest move. He remembers being praised for his rare firepower and believing others would bow to him. Fang Yi sends more lightning through his body, making him scream, while Jiang Lu continues to wonder how Fang Yi possesses thunder power. Fang Yi looks down at him in disappointment, saying he expected more, mocking the pride of young pioneers as he pins him down with electricity. Jiang Lu finally realizes Fang Yi is 2-star spirit creation, yet his pressure feels far greater, like a gap of several realms, and filled with terror and helplessness. He believes he is about to die there. Jiang Lu lies on the ground in terror and begs Fang Yi not to kill him, and Fang Yi looks at him coldly before deciding to let him go. He warns that a pioneer should never use power to bully others, and tells Jiang Lu to spend his strength dealing with new anomalies instead. Fang Yi then turns and walks away, leaving Jiang Lu confused, ashamed, and watching his back as he disappears, wondering whether Fang Yi is a true genius or if he himself is simply too weak. Later, Jiang Lu returns to an apartment where 2 friends are waiting, and one jokingly comments on his miserable appearance, only to be scolded by the other friend for fighting after being warned. He then says Jiang Lu's temper will only bring disaster, especially before the full revival begins, and instead of arguing, Jiang Lu collapses onto the sofa in defeat. His friends are shocked and ask what happened, and the red-haired friend reminds him that he went to challenge the heavenly fire user. Jiang Lu quietly admits he lost in a single move. One friend grabs him and demands the truth, and Jiang Lu finally breaks down, admitting he was crushed instantly. His friends cannot believe it, and Jiang Lu regrets not retreating the moment he sensed danger. One of them says it makes no sense, since Jiang Lu is a rare genius who reached spirit creation so quickly. Jiang Lu recalls how his meteor flame was shattered by thunder, and they speculate that he must have fought the wrong person or someone not even considered a pioneer. Jiang Lu shouts that he is certain, calling the man a monster, saying the thunder nearly split his head apart. He believes the opponent possesses both fire and thunder, with thunder far stronger, and is hiding power of at least 3-star spirit creation. His friends are left stunned, as one of them thinks such a person would terrify all pioneers. Jiang Lu then quietly asks if he should become that man's apprentice, leaving the room in stunned silence. Meanwhile, Fang Yi meditates in his apartment, bathed in golden light, and feels the sign of breaking through to 2-star spirit creation slowly fade. He opens his glowing eyes and realizes the issue is not his own strength, but the unstable spiritual energy in the environment preventing his breakthrough. He recalls the secret monitoring and rumors of an approaching catastrophe, and senses that something dreadful is coming. Looking outside, he sees a massive electric storm forming above the city, and understands that the full spiritual energy revival has begun early in this area. He tries to contact Ji Lan, but the call fails, making him fear that the military has gone silent. Moments later, Su Qingyin calls through heavy static, sounding panicked and asking for help. Fang Yi asks if monsters have appeared, and at that exact moment, a bat-like monster slams into his window. Su Qingyin confirms the danger is real, and that she is in the city. The creature smashes through the glass and attacks Fang Yi, but he calmly forms a blue lightning blade and throws it, killing the monster in a single strike. Lin Yi rushes in to warn him about the bat monster, then freezes when she sees the shattered window and the corpse. Fang Yi explains that monsters appearing directly at their home and in large numbers is extremely abnormal, and while things seem controlled for now, this may be the beginning of a major disaster. He adds that a 2-star ghost axe monster would never normally attack so boldly inside the city. Anticipating fierce battles ahead, he tells Lin Yi to contact every pioneer she knows and gather them there. He steps onto the broken window ledge and tells her to guard their home while he goes out. Across the city, Su Qingying and her team stand on a rooftop as the raging storm disrupts their equipment, and she warns that if a true disaster begins, they must act on their own. They stare at a massive vortex forming in the sky as she orders all units on high alert. Suddenly, they look up in horror as an enormous swarm of dark bat-like monsters pours out of the vortex, and an urgent alert rings out that an invasion has begun. A red alert spreads across the city, warning of the worst rainstorm in 50 years, and ordering everyone to stay indoors, and panic erupts as people stare at the sky. Jiang Lu and his friend race through rain-soaked streets on motorcycles, and his friend says the situation feels wrong and asks if they should leave, but Jiang Lu remains silent. Suddenly, a bat-like monster wrapped in dark energy dives toward them, and Jiang Lu angrily hurls a fireball while his friend wonders why such creatures would dare attack strong pioneers. The monster shrieks and emerges from the flames completely unharmed, and Jiang Lu realizes it does not resist fire but instantly revives, causing panic as he decides they must return home immediately. Hours earlier at the Spiritual Energy Association, Su Qingying and her superior discuss contacting Fang Yi when an alarm reports an A-level anomaly moving toward the city center and large numbers of bat monsters gathering in the suburbs, and Su Qingying insists on sending a team and going herself. Back in the present, the destroyer squad leader sees a colossal bat anomaly descending and shouts into his communicator that the report is wrong and the threat is actually S-level. In a military district, swarms of bats assault a warship as Jilan fights fiercely with purple energy whips, cutting through wave after wave while watching their numbers continue to grow. A lightning user lands beside her and asks for orders, and Jilan says their signals are jammed and other districts are likely facing the same crisis. Seeing the sky completely darken, she orders 2 squads to defend the restricted zone, while she leads the rest to break through and reconnect with other forces, realizing as they depart that the true target is the entire city. In the torrential rain, citizens flee in terror, and at a bus stop, a live streamer films the storm for views until a bat monster suddenly attacks and devours the man beside her, plunging the street into screams and chaos. As the swarm floods the area, the streamer runs in panic, hearing people scream that the bats are drinking blood, and one creature catches her and attacks, making her believe she is about to die. A brilliant blue energy blade suddenly cuts the bat down, and Su Qingying lands behind her cloaked in blue lightning with 2 teammates, telling the streamer lady that they will take her home. As they escort her away, a teammate reports that the sea-level bat anomalies are increasing and evolving, and Su Qingying orders civilians to be moved to safety, deciding they will regroup there later since the area has the densest swarm. Then she stays behind alone to hold the line against the blood-red tide. High above, Fang Yi lands on a rooftop and confronts a giant multi-eyed bat anomaly, observing that the swarm below has already evolved to near 3-star Ghost Axe level. He swings his golden fire sword and incinerates countless bats, but his eyes glow as he realizes they heal and multiply, rendering simple attacks ineffective. Seeing swarms over every crowded area, and knowing it would take too long to find the association teams, he decides to clear the swarms himself. He opens his limitless dark domain, forming a dark green vortex that begins absorbing the swarm as nourishment for his spiritual flower, while he thinks of Lin Yi and the pioneers guarding his home and hopes they can hold out for now, knowing the disaster may soon become impossible to survive. 10 minutes later, Su Qingying is still fighting on a rooftop as bats continue to pour in, and her power recovers too slowly, and she worries about her teammates escorting civilians. A sudden scream draws her gaze upward as the swarm compresses into a massive cluster, merging into a single horrifying entity. She leaps up the side of a building, knowing the anomalies are growing stronger and nearing the spirit creation realm, and that her scattered teams cannot stop this, especially as the bats begin attacking buildings. She fires blue blasts but is overwhelmed and knocked from the sky, and as she falls, she sees a gigantic vortex of dark energy and lightning forming above, and realizes the swarm is giving birth to the king of anomalies. The city falls into ruin under heavy rain as a huge swarm of shadowy bat monsters floods the streets, and even the military and the association cannot stop the destruction. Pioneers fight everywhere, and reports say many teams are dying. Su Qingying fights alone, her barrier holding back the endless swarm, as a new alert names the S-level threat an anomaly king. In the command center, officials receive reports of terrible losses. The monsters are too many and heal too fast, and it is too late to call help. A fog surrounds the city, cutting off rescue, and they realize the city is trapped. The association leader swears they will stand and fall with the city, and sends a last code to headquarters, asking for a destruction strike if they fail, to stop the dark attribute from spreading. Su Qingying's barrier cracks as her power runs out. She gathers her last strength and fires a final blast at the vortex, but it is deflected. The evolved creature shrieks and shows power at 3-star spirit creation realm, shattering her barrier and knocking her from the sky. As she falls, readying one last attack, a streak of fire explodes past her and stops the monster. She sees Fang Yi before her, sword blazing, one eye fire orange and the other electric blue. He charges with fire and lightning and cuts the monster in half with one strike, the pieces exploding in the dark sky. They land on the wet road, and he apologizes for being late because of many swarms. Weak, Su Qingying warns him the creatures can revive as the pieces reform. Fang Yi says he knows, and that he finishes what he starts. He gathers dark energy, and opens his limitless dark domain, a huge vortex that pulls in the regenerating swarm. Watching, Su Qingying feels hope return, knowing the city still has Fang Yi. With one command, Fang Yi makes the vortex shrink and crushes the countless bat monsters into one small stable orb of dark energy. He turns to Su Qingying and asks if she is okay. She thanks him for saving her and says she can recover with her medicine. Seeing her wounds, Fang Yi grows serious and places a hand on her shoulder. Blue lightning spreads over her, making her cry out in surprise. He says he has cleaned the dark attribute from her body and tells her to bandage the wound. Su Qingying is shocked that his thunder power reduces the pain and heals faster than the association's medicine. In the command center, an operator cheers that the monster groups in the city are decreasing, but a superior corrects him, saying all rescue teams outside lost contact, and the numbers outside are not falling. He explains the swarms in the city are gathering because the Anomaly King is about to be born, and he quietly accepts that he may not see his parents again. Watching the huge vortex, Fang Yi asks Su Qingying what they are facing. She says it is a super S-class disaster called a cataclysm, as strong as the one the Star God Warzone once sealed, and the swarms are only a warning. She explains a powerful spirit is forming inside, and if it is born, the city will be destroyed. Dark anomalies obey their king once it fully forms. Worried, she reminds him he is not in the Diamond Realm, and that even the nation's strongest pioneer was left bedridden after sealing such a disaster. She begs him to escape, break the blockade, and warn the military to abandon the city. Fang Yi taps her head lightly, then says firmly that this city is his home and he will pay any price to protect it. He jumps to a rooftop before the growing vortex, wrapped in golden light, saying the city is being offered to birth the king. He borrows her wrist device to detect anomalies and contact the association, and declares he will go up and destroy the creature before it fully forms. In the association command center, tension breaks when an operator shouts that they have reconnected to a lost signal from Captain Su. The screens show her tracker moving at extreme speed toward the storm's center, the most dangerous place. Staff panic and shout for her to come back, warning it is suicide to go in alone. An official grabs the communicator and orders her to stop and wait for military backup. On a rooftop, Fang Yi holds Su Qingying's wrist device as it crackles with static. He speaks into it, asking if they can hear him. The official is stunned and demands to know who he is and where Captain Su is. Fang Yi ignores the questions and takes command, saying he will destroy the Anomaly King in the storm and needs the command center to fully cooperate. He warns that if they want to save the city, they must support him with all equipment and data. After a shocked pause, the official orders everyone to assist him, activating all satellite radar and assigning one operator as his main contact. The operator reports that countless anomalies surround the king like a typhoon, with fewer on the north route and a safer approach from the southeast. As Fang Yi flies into the storm, the operator shouts that two strong anomalies, A and S level with 2-star spirit creation strength, have locked onto him and urges retreat. The command center braces as a shockwave hits. In the sky, Fang Yi calmly cuts one bat-like anomaly in half with his blazing sword. The officials stare in disbelief as the S-level source vanishes, realizing a dark S-level anomaly was killed in one strike, and cheers erupt. Fang Yi notes his enchanted flames slow dark regeneration, but the creature reforms, so he attacks again with fast fire and thunder slashes, annoyed by their endless numbers. Suddenly, a strange orb appears in the sky, drawing the bats away. Cloaked pioneers on the ground watch in confusion as the swarm stops attacking and turns toward the orb. The association superior with them says this is very bad, because there is only one reason the swarms would stop attacking. They are being called back by the Anomaly King, which means its birth is very close. The remaining soldiers and pioneers watch as the bats gather into a huge red cloud over the city, knowing their only chance is to stop the swarms before they fully return. Outside the sealed city, Jai Lan attacks from high ground, blasting the dark creatures. Her subordinate reports that they still need at least 30 minutes to break in. He despairs, knowing the Anomaly King will be fully born by then. Jai Lan can only watch the swarm and says the number of creatures is more than 10 times what they expected, equal to many S-level threats, and even heavy weapons cannot stop their endless healing. She fears nearby cities will fall if they fail, and asks if they still lack people to break through. He answers that they are outnumbered, and that some pioneers are only watching from afar, not realizing the danger will reach them too. Suddenly, Jai Lan notices something in the sky. The swarms inside the city begin flying toward the birthplace of the king. At the center of the vortex, a bright golden light appears. Her subordinate asks in shock if that flame is Fang Yi. Jai Lan smiles calmly and orders all forces to increase firepower and push forward, saying the Star God Warzone will never abandon a city. As they advance, a single burning figure rises into the storm. Jai Lan and a stunned Su Qingying stare at the huge sea of fire he creates. From a broken window, Lin Yi recognizes her cousin's blade, and 81 watches in awe. High above, the bats rush at Fang Yi. He says this is what he wants, and swings his blazing sword, causing a massive fire blast that tears through the swarm. As his eyes burn with fire, he feels the breakthrough feeling return. He decides to speed it up and opens his limitless dark domain like a giant dark eye in the sky. He calls out his spirit flower, and it appears, covered in dark energy, then attacks the swarm, draining them as Fang Yi orders it to absorb them and help him break through. The fire spirit flower moves at once, sending many dark vines into the bat swarm and piercing them with ease, eating the monsters and using their dark power to help Fang Yi break through. When the swarms are cleared, Fang Yi lands inside the giant flower and looks up at the vortex where the Anomaly King is forming. He feels the creature looks unreal, but he can sense its core and hear its heavy heartbeat. He knows the king can pull out the darkest desires in people and is hiding because its growth is not complete. Fang Yi asks the flower if it has found the core, and it sends the location to his wrist device, which shines and points a beam into the vortex. With the target marked, Fang Yi's eyes glow as he uses his golden sun breathing at full power, sending a huge blast of golden light into the sky. In the ruined city below, Zhang Lu and his friends stare in shock, realizing this light must be a high-tier yang power that counters dark energy. In the command center, operators cheer as monster numbers drop fast and the containment field shrinks. Outside the city, Jailan's convoy stops as the swarms pull back toward the city. Jailan sees Fang Yi's golden light and knows he is striking the king's core, though she worries he is alone. As they watch, a spiked mass appears in the vortex, and Jailan realizes the Anomaly King is hatching early. Other pioneers see the pulsing source and swear to fight on. In a damaged building, Lin Yi, 81 and others watch the sky and refuse to wait for death, knowing the king's birth will sacrifice the city. Su Qinying heals a wounded pioneer nearby. Lin Yi rallies the pioneers, reminding them the bats hurt their families, and suddenly remembers the huge flower her cousin summoned that eats the swarms. Lin Yi realizes the flower's power is the same desolation power as the ghost vine they saw before, so her cousin also has the desolation attribute. With this, she makes a bold plan and tells everyone to send their spiritual power into the vine network of Fang Yi's flower to strengthen it for the final fight. The pioneers agree at once and raise their hands, sending streams of power to the flower. From the ground, the Association Superior sees the blue lights flying upward and understands they are feeding Fang Yi's plant, so he also sends his own power. All across the city, the remaining pioneers follow, focusing their will and sending energy into the sky. Su Qingying senses the change and looks up to see the flower glowing with the strength of every pioneer, so she adds her last power to it for the final strike at the Anomaly King's core. The monster screams as the attack hits, and Fang Yi follows with a fast slash that cuts through its body. Afterward, Fang Yi floats in the air, wiping blood from his face, when a warning says all bat swarms outside the city are rushing to him, with huge numbers of B, A, and S-level monsters coming. Calmly, Fang Yi looks at the cocoon and says he will destroy all of them, mocking the king for hatching early out of fear. The Anomaly King answers by breaking out of the cocoon, showing a huge claw and then its full form, a terrifying beast with one eye. Its power shakes the city, cracking the ground as an earthquake spreads fear. From outside, Ji Lan and her subordinate watch with grim hope, while Su Qingying, Lin Yi and others pray for Fang Yi. Floating in golden light with his blazing flower around him, Fang Yi names the creature the King of Dark Anomalies and the cause of the city's pain. He says he grew up here and loves this city, so he will fight for it. The Anomaly King roars back. With burning eyes, Fang Yi declares that for his home, the king must die. The clash with the Anomaly King causes a blinding explosion in the sky, and when the light fades, Fang Yi finds himself in a dark void facing the giant eye of the king. The creature mocks him in his mind, saying he is only one star in the spirit creation realm and should not challenge it. Before he can respond, the king opens its shadowy mouth and forms a strong vortex that pulls him inside. Fang Yi realizes this enemy is different from all others, because even after taking his full attack, it is still strong enough to swallow him. He lands inside the monster's wet, fleshy stomach filled with liquid that is highly corrosive and full of dark power, strong enough to melt any normal pioneer. He finds it strange that such a smart creature would swallow him alive, then understands this is its mistake, because a monster is weakest inside. He tests this by gathering fire and punching the inner wall, burning the flesh. Although the liquid weakens his power, his attacks still work, so he decides to keep fighting from within. He calls his fire spirit flower, and is surprised to see it has also been pulled inside, already charged with dark energy and the power of the pioneers. However, the flower hesitates, as the king's special power pushes it away, so Fang Yi cannot use its draining ability as planned. Changing his plan, he holds the flower in one hand, and keeps striking the monster's inner walls with the other. Outside, the Anomaly King breaks apart but quickly reforms in the sky, calling back the bat swarms to regain power. Lin Yui and 81 watch in fear, not knowing where Fang Yi is. Su Qingying leads civilians to safety, saying Fang Yi is still fighting inside the monster. Ji Lan arrives with the military and orders fast evacuation as the king and swarms attack the city. The king pulls the swarms into itself to recover, and inside its body, Fang Yi realizes the enemy is far from defeated. As the monster tries to digest him, the burning liquid and dark power start to break down Fang Yi's body and strength, and he feels his power fading. When he opens his eyes, he is no longer inside the beast but standing alone in the ruins of a destroyed city under a dark sky. A huge shadow beast comes out of the darkness and attacks him. Fang Yi realizes his spiritual power is gone, but he can still move fast and dodge the heavy blows. He understands this is an illusion made by the Anomaly King to make him think he has returned to his weak past. As he keeps avoiding the attacks, he realizes the king cannot truly take his strength and that his power is only sealed in his mind. He knows every illusion has a flaw and decides to find it. The beast suddenly grabs him and tells him he will never escape, then shows him false images of Ji Lan, Su Qingying, and the others lying dead to break his will. Fang Yi stays calm and asks if this is really what the monster believes. In that moment, he breaks free as golden light explodes from his body. He declares that the king is only a puppet and that he exists to protect his home and the people he cares about. Golden figures of many people appear around him, and the light burns away the shadow beast, shattering the illusion. A wave of fire sweeps through the false world, and Fang Yi returns to the real sky. His hair burns like fire, blue lightning covers his body, and a giant golden hand of energy forms around him as he prepares to end the fight. A system window appears, confirming he can now break through to the 2-star spirit creation realm, and asking if he wants to advance. Fang Yi accepts his breakthrough to the 2-star spirit creation realm and rushes forward in a burst of golden power, saying he will change the fate of the world. The Anomaly King mocks him for being only 2 stars and attacks, but Fang Yi dodges the blow and smiles, knowing his plan is working. The monster suddenly feels pain as blue thunder explodes inside its body, and it screams in confusion about the strange power hurting it. Fang Yi gathers all his strength and declares he will seal the beast. He releases his technique, 9 dragons heavenly fire, and 9 huge fire dragons fly out from his blazing aura and crash into the Anomaly King's core. The monster realizes the attack is far stronger than before and lets out a final scream as the explosion of light fills the sky. The Anomaly King's power is destroyed, and the dark vortex in the sky is pulled in and absorbed. Fang Yi returns to normal, still holding his burning sword, and uses his limitless dark domain to take in the remaining dark energy. Below, pioneers and soldiers stare at the clear sky in shock, then cheer as they realize the nightmare is over. Ji Lan stands on a military vehicle as survivors celebrate that the city has been saved. At dawn, her blonde subordinate asks if she will look for Fang Yi, but she says their duty now is to help people and rebuild the city. Across the city, survivors cry, hug, and smile in the morning light. Far away, the Spiritual Energy Association staff celebrate, relieved the city did not fall, and knowing Fang Yi saved them from disgrace. Su Qingying and the association superior watch paramedics carry injured pioneers, and he assures her the medical centers are still working and the wounded can be treated. Su Qingying feels grateful to Fang Yi and wonders about his true identity and power, knowing that without him, none of this would have been possible. The superior agrees that everyone saw Fang Yi reach the 2-star spirit creation realm, and he believes headquarters will soon contact him. Su Qingying thinks about how much Fang Yi has grown and admits she can no longer compare to him, realizing he is now one of the greatest geniuses in Shai Nation. The superior remembers the golden light and the 9 fire dragons that sealed the anomaly, knowing the whole city saw it and that it will cause huge discussion, so they must act fast. When Su Qingying asks what he means, he suggests giving Fang Yi a new title, the Burial Sealer, because it fits what he did. After the battle, Lin Yi and 81 run through the broken streets, worried about Fang Yi. Lin Yi suddenly sees him standing in the ruins with his sword and calls out to him with tears of relief. She runs to him and asks if he is hurt. Fang Yi says he is fine and praises her for doing well, then leans on both of them because he is tired. In his heart, he knows the fight used all the power from his breakthrough, and he feels shy that they were worried. Lin Yi then realizes he has broken through again and is shocked at his fast growth, and 81 is also stunned. News spreads quickly online, and people call the hero who saved the city the Burial Sealer, wondering who he is and how he killed the Anomaly King, when even the military and association failed. Many guess he is from a secret group in Shai Nation. Elsewhere, Zhonglu's friend points at a video and says the man is the one who beat Zhonglu before. Zhonglu watches with excitement and says he is honored to lose to someone so strong, and he wants to find Fang Yi and become his student, but his friend warns many people will be searching for him now. In the Great Shai capital, shadowy figures meet in a secret room. One man says he wanted to see the military and association fight each other, and another suggests sending someone to kill Fang Yi. A woman rejects this, saying simple methods are not worthy of the chosen savior. She shows Fang Yi's photo, mocks his title, the burial sealer, stabs the photo through the neck with her nail, and says anyone who blocks their path will be destroyed. After the battle, Fang Yi and Lin Yi are resting in their apartment when someone knocks on the door. Fang Yi opens it and sees Su Qingying with the association superior, who brings gift boxes and thanks him for saving the city from the S-level disaster. Admitting the association made serious mistakes, Fang Yi invites them in, gives them water, and they sit together. The superior explains the association wants to promote the title, the burial sealer, to build the city's strength and status after the disaster. He shows a map of famous pioneers in major cities, and says their Tai city needs a powerful symbol because without Fang Yi it would have fallen. Su Qingying adds that anomalies will appear more often and the city cannot face another near collapse. Fang Yi understands and realizes he focused too much on training and ignored the city's future, seeing that Tai is not as important as top cities like Shen, Tian, and Kang. He agrees the disaster is also a chance for Tai to rise. The superior explains cities are now judged by their pioneers, and strong cities gain more resources, so they want to protect Fang Yi's real identity while letting the public know only the burial sealer. Fang Yi agrees, saying mystery is safer, and Lin Yi adds that imagination can be stronger than truth. Fang Yi accepts the plan and shakes hands with the superior, who welcomes him as the burial sealer. In the following days, with help from the association and military, Tai City begins fast recovery and rescue work, and a new order starts to form after the disaster. In Shen City at the association headquarters, officials discuss the hero who solved the S-level anomaly in Tai. They say Fang Yi is the most outstanding new pioneer, and note his high-grade Yang attribute, Fire attribute shown in the Heavenly Fire video, and Thunder attribute known as the Tyrant. One man points out the data suggests he has more than one high-grade attribute, which shocks the others. A woman with blue hair enters, asks about the burial sealer, and requests to see all his data, and they open his file for her. After reading Fang Yi's file, the woman thinks that as more pioneers appear and Fang Yi rises, many people will challenge him, and she admits she wants to test his strength herself, believing they will meet soon. In Kang City's library, Chu Qingli studies when a shy man asks for her contact, but she coldly sends him away for making noise. She looks down on ordinary people, remembering she awakened as a one-star Ghost Realm pioneer after an exam and feels chosen, believing this power saved her from the Tai disaster. She thinks normal people cannot fight anomalies, and recalls Fang Yi saying they were only classmates, deciding the old Fang Yi would have died in the invasion, and is nothing like the burial sealer. Seeing news about the burial sealer, she believes he is far better than her ex, and decides only someone strong like him deserves her. Meanwhile, Fang Yi and Lin Yi go out to look for a new home, taking a break from training as advised by the association, and Lin Yi excitedly mentions Su Qingying offered to help them find high-end houses. While walking, a green gas drifts around them, and Fang Yi realizes someone is following them. 3 men appear from the fog. Their bald leader with a metal pipe mocks Fang Yi as the burial sealer, says he is overpraised, and claims Tai chose trash as its captain, while another man releases more gas. They demand Fang Yi give up the benefits he gained from the city. Lin Yi attacks with blue energy, but one man dodges and strikes her barrier with a glowing axe, forcing her back. The bald leader swings his pipe at Fang Yi. Lin Yi warns her cousin they also have spiritual power, but Fang Yi calmly grabs the pipe with his bare hand and stops it. The bald man freezes in shock. Flames burst from Fang Yi's hand as he looks at them with contempt and asks what kind of filthy nobodies dare to rob him in the street. Fang Yi punches the bald leader in the face with a flaming fist, sending him flying as he cries out in shock. One of the men is stunned that Fang Yi is not affected, even though the green potion made to break spiritual barriers should have worked. The bald leader stands up in anger, saying he was careless and that they are all at the spirit creation realm, then charges again. Fang Yi calmly sees their powers are twisted, earth and wood, and mocks their dirty tricks, knowing such methods cannot harm him. The Axeman jumps at Lin Yi, but she kicks him down with fast movement, making him cry in pain. Annoyed at being disturbed, Fang Yi tells Lin Yi to step back, removes his sunglasses, and releases his true power. A bright golden blast spreads out like a small sun, trapping the 3 men in holy flames as they scream and beg, finally realizing the burial sealer's strength. Just as Fang Yi is about to finish them, Su Qingying rushes in and stops him, saying these men are wanted targets of the association. She explains they are being registered and will be taken in. Fang Yi warns the men not to trouble him again, and Su Qingying scolds them as medics take them away, saying they are lucky to be alive. She tells Lin Yi the men will face life imprisonment and forced service as pioneers because of their crimes. Fang Yi says this punishment makes sense. Su Qingying complains that people still dare to challenge him, and calls him the association's treasure and the nation's future, saying they must protect their good relationship with him. She then happily says she will take Fang Yi and Lin Yi to choose a new home and car, saying the attackers will be used as a warning, She shows them two choices, a top-floor city penthouse and a quiet 3-story mountain villa for training, both fully ready to move into, and Lin Yi says both places are very good. With a smile, Fang Yi raises 2 fingers and says he wants both homes. Lin Yi and Su Qingying freeze in surprise, and Fang Yi jokes that he trusts Captain Su to make it happen. Flustered but pleased, Su Qingying agrees. The 3 then go to a luxury car showroom, where Su Qingying explains the association can provide any car they choose. People inside quietly talk about Lin Yi's fair skin and elegant look, while others notice that even in simple clothes, Fang Yi stands out and guess he must be important. Outside, Su Qingyi's friend sees them, and wrongly thinks Fang Yi is buying a car for his girlfriend. When she recognizes him as Chu Qingyi's ex, she feels angry and secretly takes photos, sending them to Chu Qingyi. Chu Qingyi replies coldly, acting like she does not care, but in class she feels upset and looks down on Fang Yi, thinking he only survived by luck and is being supported by someone rich. She convinces herself their worlds are now far apart. After choosing their homes, Fang Yi and Lin Yi arrive at the modern villa. Lin Yi runs inside in joy, amazed that they really have a villa, and rushes upstairs to explore. Fang Yi smiles at her excitement, then grows serious as he remembers his past life and realizes he had lost his cousin before. He silently promises to protect her this time. His phone rings, and Jilan congratulates him on becoming captain, and jokes about the 2 houses. Fang Yi replies lightly, and Jilan says better living conditions are a fair reward. She adds that when spirit fruits are ready, she will send him some. Then she speaks seriously about a mission, and asks if he knows Tianbao Building in Kang City. Fang Yi recalls it is the largest mall there. Jilan confirms and explains it was sealed after a monster attack that killed many people, and it has now become a ghost building. Kang City is now focused on the huge Tianbao Building, once the busiest and most famous place in the city, but now feared because of strange shaking and incidents. An energy surrounds it, so the Kang City Spiritual Association has sealed the area. Fang Yi arrives to join the mission, and meets 4 teammates at the gathering point. He introduces himself as the one assigned to the task, and remembers Jilan's warning not to reveal his real identity or power, so he keeps a low profile. He quickly observes the team and sees a mixed group. 2 look like soldiers from the military, and the other 2, a serious gray-haired man and a short purple-haired woman, Song Yue, introduce themselves as members of the Kang City Spiritual Association, saying Jilan arranged this team. They ride in an armored vehicle through heavy rain toward the sealed building. The mood inside is tense. The driver stays silent, and the blonde woman in front nervously suggests they promise to help each other once inside. In the back, Fang Yi sits quietly beside the 2 association members, feeling the team is poorly organized. The gray-haired man doubts Fang Yi is the expert they were promised, whispering that he looks too young and weak. Fang Yi hides his power and wears no device, which adds to the doubt. Song Yu, however, studies Fang Yi and recalls rumors of the burial sealer, the one who stopped a disaster alone. She connects the clues and suspects this quiet young man may be that legend, though his age makes it hard to believe. Meanwhile, at the Star God Warzone office, Jilan receives bad news that the Tianbao Building has fully fallen. Contact with those inside is lost. The anomaly level has risen to 12,000, and 53 people are confirmed dead. Jilan is worried but insists Fang Yi will be fine and ends the call firmly. Back in Kang City, the team arrives in heavy, blood-like rain. The building is wrapped in energy, and its walls are stained with huge splashes of blood. Fang Yi notes the danger is greater than anything he faced before. Song Yu explains the building has 40 floors and is the tallest in the city, and although many were evacuated, narrow spaces trapped people inside. Fang Yi realizes some civilians are still inside because they did not leave before the lockdown. Fang Yi asks if they can contact anyone inside, but the driver says it is impossible because no messages have come out since the anomaly began. He says he helped during the 2nd day of the lockdown and saw the building change fast, like it aged many years in minutes. He remembers body parts falling from windows, already chewed by monsters, and says the dark aura has grown heavier each day. Hearing this, Fang Yi looks at the team sharply and points out that without contact inside, the reported 53 deaths are only guesses based on what was found outside. He criticizes the Kang City Spiritual Association for being careless. The driver nervously says they had no choice. Fang Yi realizes the real death number is likely much higher and that trapped civilians are like prey with no way out. He orders the team to enter at once, warning that some anomalies grow stronger by eating people. The gray-haired man grabs his shoulder and demands to hear a plan first, even saying Fang Yi lacks official training. Song Yu steps in angrily, telling him to stop because Jilan recommended Fang Yi, so questioning him is like questioning a superior. Fang Yi says nothing, walks toward the entrance, and tells them to stay behind if they are afraid. They follow him inside. The lobby is ruined and silent, with crushed cars and trash everywhere. The blonde woman notices the silence feels wrong. A shadow drops from the ceiling, and before anyone can react, a monster attacks the gray-haired man. Fang Yi instantly draws his sword, which bursts into flames and cuts the creature apart in one strike. The monster is destroyed at once. The team stands stunned by how fast it ended. Fang Yi checks the remains and says the creature looks like a mix of a bird and a gecko, heavily mutated, meaning it has eaten many people. Song Yue steps closer and in shock identifies it as an A+ grade anomaly. As the smoke clears, Song Yue and her subordinate are stunned. She realizes Fang Yi is far stronger than a 1-star spirit creation realm pioneer, and the man breaks into a cold sweat, knowing Fang Yi could have killed him easily. The other man admits he was wrong and says he never imagined the young man was the legendary sealer, because he always pictured the burial sealer as an old swordsman. Fang Yi turns away with his sword still burning and explains that after his breakthrough, he merged his spiritual power with his sword, turning it into a spirit weapon he can summon and change at will, and adds that others can learn this too. With fear turning into trust, he tells the team to move faster. Song Yue says she is glad he is with them as they go deeper into the dark building. Fang Yi lights their path by forming a small fire in his hand and leads them down a narrow hallway. They reach stairs covered in blood, and Fang Yi judges that far more than 53 people died, likely hundreds. His eyes sharpen as he senses danger. In a supermarket area, the floor is full of blood and trash but no bodies, making the team uneasy. A shadow monster suddenly jumps from the dark. Fang Yi shouts a warning and throws his flaming sword past his teammates, cutting the monster's head off in mid-air. The burning body falls, and a pioneer trembles, realizing another monster was right beside them. Fang Yi stands calmly and asks if they truly felt nothing wrong, showing the gap in awareness. He then says that although the two monsters were strong, they were not enough to wipe out a rescue team. He points out that the blood smell is mixed with dark energy, but there is no smell of corpses. Song Yue agrees that the place feels empty, like no life was ever here. Fang Yi concludes this is not the real Tianbao building, but a simple empty copy made by the monster, and prepares to test his idea. Fang Yi stretches out his hand and releases a huge wave of energy, saying that if he is right, this place is only an empty shell. He opens his limitless dark domain, forming a large sphere, which shocks his teammates because they recognize the dark attribute. A system notice appears and confirms his guess, explaining that this place is an inner dark world, a fake space made by splitting the dark attribute to take over the real area. The system says the real inner world can only be entered by finding its door. Fang Yi understands and tells the team that to reach the real Tianbao building, they must find this door, and that the trapped people were fooled by hallucinations, mistaking windows for exits, which is why they died trying to escape. Song Yue is horrified and asks if they must find the door next. At that moment, the system warns that the hostile inner dark world has fully appeared, and a crushing wave of energy slams down on them. The two pioneers collapse in pain as their defenses fail. Fang Yi's eyes glow as he raises a golden barrier that shields everyone. Inside the barrier, his teammates gasp in relief and realize the dark power almost killed them without even touching them, and that only Fang Yi protected them. Fang Yi then focuses on empty space, his sword bursting into flames as he says he has found the entrance. He uses a fire dragon strike and smashes the invisible point, causing the hallway to shatter like glass. The broken scene reveals a huge gate of dark mist and shadows, the real entrance to the inner dark world. Fang Yi steps forward with his burning sword and tells everyone to stay close. He keeps a golden shield around the team as they move into the real building, where fleshy veins cover the walls. The blonde girl feels sick from the terrible smell, and Fang Yi grimly says it is the smell of blood and dead people. They soon reach a horrible sight, finding the bodies of the missing pioneers on the floor, proving they were trapped and killed here. The team is suddenly attacked as many shadowy bat monsters pour down from the ceiling and surround them. Above their heads, a dark storm of creatures spins, cutting off all escape. From the swarm, a huge A+ gray demon dives straight at them, and the gray-haired man and the association member cry out in shock at meeting another high-level dark monster so quickly. Fang Yi reacts at once, calling out his flaming sword and throwing it through the monster's chest in a burst of fire. The creature screams as Fang Yi rushes in, grips the sword, and unleashes a rapid storm of blazing slashes that tear through the swarm and the large demon. He lands as inner flame explodes around him, and the monsters melt the moment they touch his flames. The blonde girl and Song Yue shield their faces from the heat, stunned that the dark creatures vanish so easily, and realizing they have not needed to fight at all since entering. Fang Yi walks through the burning remains, his sword glowing like molten rock, and reaches toward the bodies of the trapped victims on the floor. With his fire, he carefully burns the bodies to give them peace. The two pioneers watch in awe and say his title as the burial sealer is truly earned. Fang Yi then tells the group to help, now that they are inside, ordering them to search the first floor for survivors, while he goes up to deal with the monsters above. The team accepts his command with respect. Fang Yi clears the building floor by floor, and on the 10th floor, he cuts down flying shadows that have grown to the 1-star spirit creation realm, noting their powers have not changed much. He leads the team up to the 15th floor, his sword leaving fire in the air as the pressure grows heavier. The blonde girl feels the cold dark power slipping past her shield as they enter a hallway filled with bodies. The gray-haired man notices movement inside the corpses and warns that something corrosive is growing within them, telling everyone not to breathe in the spores. As a drop of liquid falls into a puddle, a shadow suddenly rises behind Fang Yi and the brown-haired pioneer. The monster shows its true form as a huge creature covered in many eyes that looks down at them and roars, firing sharp energy spikes. Fang Yi only smiles and says the fight is finally worth his time. He spins his sword fast, making a wall of fire that blocks the spikes, and when the monster rushes in, he throws his burning sword with great force, blasting it apart in a loud explosion. Reaching out his hand, Fang Yi calmly tells the dying creature that it was weaker than he expected, and not even close to a 3-star spirit creation level threat. The gray-haired man suddenly tenses when he hears a sound, and Fang Yi asks who is hiding there. He opens a door and finds 5 people crowded inside a small luxury storeroom. A young man shakes with fear and asks if they are the pioneers sent to save them. Fang Yi smiles gently and tells them they are safe now and that the monsters outside have been cleared. The association member steps forward and introduces the team as the Kang City Spiritual Association, urging the survivors to come out. The young man stares at Fang Yi in shock and asks if it is true that he killed all those monsters with one slash. Outside the building, the monitoring team watches the energy around Tianbao Tower and tracks Fang Yi's spiritual fire on each floor, amazed as his signal reaches the 40th floor. The analysts report that he cleared the entire building from bottom to top in just 9 minutes and 56 seconds, news that will stun every pioneer in Kang City. Before they can celebrate, a red alert sounds, warning that the danger is not over because an S-class eruption has been detected at the very top. On the roof, Fang Yi stands among broken stone and looks up, knowing the real enemy is here. Above him looms a massive skeletal bird covered in black feathers and glowing power. Fang Yi recognizes it at once as the anomaly king of this place, the Bone Bird. Fang Yi rushes at the huge anomaly king, the Bone Bird, jumping up with his sword raised. As he closes in, he sees that the worms on its body are part of the creature itself. He strikes with golden power, but the Bone Bird blocks the blow with its thick bone cage, stopping him for a moment. His teammates watch in fear, thinking even the burial sealer may not win, and knowing they are too weak to help. Fang Yi clicks his tongue, decides to stop testing it, and calls Divine Thunder, covering his sword in blue lightning. With this power, he cuts straight through the bone defense, and the monster roars in pain. Calmly telling it to be quiet, Fang Yi sends a huge blue slash through the bone bird's body, then moves in a blur, landing many fast cuts before touching down lightly. The gray-haired man and the blonde girl stare in shock as he fully controls the fight, and Song Yue sees that every strike is precise and deadly. Fang Yi notes that this king is weaker than the anomaly king he faced before, and that the power gap is too large for it to fight back. The bone bird cries as it tries to heal, but Fang Yi looks at it coldly and asks if it still thinks it can recover. Blue lightning gathers around him as he builds power. Then he jumps high and sends a giant pillar of lightning through the Tianbao building. The dark energy is washed away as the clouds break and golden sunset light shines through, showing the darkness is gone. Outside, monitors show the Anomaly King's energy vanish, and the association realizes Fang Yi stands far above them, sealing the case as top secret because no one else could copy what he did. Fang Yi lands on the rubble, dust settling, and tells Song Yue and the gray-haired man that the bone bird is dead, and they can contact the outside now. Song Yue quickly turns on her communicator and reports that the mission is complete, saying the burial sealer solved everything smoothly. While she speaks, Fang Yi starts walking toward the exit, and she says she hopes the Kang City Spirit Association will cooperate and thank him for his help. Suddenly, her face changes when she hears new news. She angrily asks why the new Kang City captain is coming now that the mission is over. A bright streak of light flies toward them, and the voice explains that the captain heard the burial sealer was here and rushed over, ignoring orders to stop. Song Yue gets furious and says the mission belonged to the military zone and the new captain is their problem, then warns that anyone who challenges the burial sealer will face consequences. Fang Yue steps out of the Tianbao building, ready to leave, but stops when he feels a fast presence coming from above. A man crashes down in front of him with an energy weapon and introduces himself as Yue Fengjiang, the new Kang City captain, demanding to know if Fang Yue is the burial sealer from Tai City. Fang Yue looks back at him coldly. Yue Fengjiang studies him, wrongly guessing he is a wind user and hiding his power, then changes his weapon into a claw and attacks. Fang Yue draws his flaming sword and blocks, and they trade fast blows as Yue Fengjiang jumps up and slams down, forcing Fang Yue to dodge. Yue Fengjiang laughs and looks down on him, saying he wants to use this fight to make his name and show his family's power. He pretends to thank Fang Yue for solving the crisis, then scolds him for breaking rules and acting without rank. Fang Yue calmly says he came because the military asked and there was no captain before, then asks what Yue Fengjiang really wants. Yue Fengjiang smirks and admits he wants to borrow Feng Yue's powerful sword, gathering dark energy and threatening that Feng Yue will not leave Kong City if he refuses. Feng Yue stays calm, finds the demand ridiculous, then releases his full power as flames rise around his sword. Yue Fengjiang is shocked by the sudden surge of power, and Feng Yue coldly mocks his request, saying he will borrow his whole family instead. Fang Yi opens the fight with a strong fire slash, and Yue Fengjiang dodges it with great speed, smiling as he says the fight is finally fun. Nearby, Song Yu notices their signal is cut off again, and urgently tells her team to leave at once to report to the military and move the survivors to safety. Surrounded by flames, Fang Yi warns them to leave within 10 minutes, saying they might see a captain die if they stay. One of the members tries to speak, but Song Yu covers his mouth and drags him away, agreeing they must go. As they retreat, Song Yu angrily complains that Yue Fengjiang is causing trouble right after becoming captain, and the others think it might be good if the burial sealer teaches him a lesson. Once they are gone, Fang Yi raises his hand and strikes Yue Fengjiang with a powerful bolt of thunder. Yue Fengjiang blocks it with his weapon, but the impact shakes him badly. He shouts that Fang Yi should stop holding back and use all his power if he wants to kill him. Fang Yi answers with a heavy strike that sends shockwaves through the area, blowing apart nearby buildings and forcing Yue Fengjiang to slide back. Feeling fear for the first time, Yue Fengjiang realizes Fang Yi's yang power is terrifying. Standing in flames, Fang Yi calmly says that if he truly used full power, Yue Fengjiang would not last 10 minutes. Yue Fengjiang laughs wildly, believing the strength comes from Fang Yi's sword, which he thinks is a secret weapon from the association. He imagines stealing it and grows greedy, tearing off his shirt as energy rises. He calls Fang Yi a mere 2-star cultivator and demands the sword, threatening to kill him for it. Meanwhile, at Tai headquarters, the superior slams the table in anger after hearing the Kang City captain attacked Fang Yi. Su Qingying warns, this involves high-level military politics, since Fang Yi was invited by the war zone. The assistant reports that Kang City said if the fight is not stopped in 10 minutes, it will become irreversible, believing their third-ranked city captain will win. Insulted, the superior curses their arrogance, knowing they have badly underestimated Fang Yi, even after hearing the Kang City captain just reached 3 stars and has strong family backing. With a grave tone, he explains that the burial sealer has several top-level powers, and his real strength is far beyond his visible rank, and he warns that because Kang City never faced the King Sacrifice Hell, they do not understand what Fang Yi's title truly means, predicting their captain may even die. Back in the fight, Fang Yi throws a brutal punch, his eye blazing as his fist smashes into Yue Fengjiang's face, sending blood and teeth flying and breaking his defense. The battle rages high over the city as Yue Fengjiang realizes his attacks cannot break Fang Yi's flames and that his own power fades on contact, as if being swallowed, while Fang Yi keeps pressing him without pause. In a flash, Fang Yi appears beside him and coldly says they have arrived, making Yue Fengjiang turn in shock to see the Kang City Spirit Association building beside them. Fang Yi, towering over him, gives one last warning out of respect for the city and the military, then kicks him hard, blasting him downward, and sends a storm of fire strikes toward the building to make his presence known, fearing people may be inside. The blast lights up the skyline, heat surges through the streets, and civilians panic as they see 2 figures fighting in the sky, some recognizing the fire from the news and believing the rumors about the revival. Fang Yi, wrapped in golden flames, faces Yue Fengjiang in dark energy, checks the time, and says he has 5 minutes left, asking if he wanted to see full power. He dives like a meteor and releases a huge fire slash, mocking that this is only 30% of his strength, which leaves Yue Fengjiang in terror as he is blasted away. In Shen City, alarms ring as monitors show a massive energy surge at Kang City's Spirit Association building. Officials learn the new Kang City captain, Divine Blade, attacked the burial sealer to steal his weapon after the rescue, and the superior explodes in anger, ordering Kang City to stop the fight at once and prepare consequences, as Gu Yuro, the ocean mystic, steps forward to take the mission. A little girl points out the window and says she sees a shooting star as the sky flashes, and her mother pulls her close in fear while bright explosions light the buildings, telling the family to run. They hurriedly pack, and the father decides Kang City is no longer safe, saying they will leave for Shen City at once, as smoke rises outside, and the mother cries while he promises they will find a way. Moments earlier in the sky, Yue Fengjiang bursts from the flames, burned and furious, shouting that his powerful family and the Kang City Spirit Association will take revenge, while Fang Yi floats calmly and ignores the threats. Inside the glass building, officials panic as they watch their captain losing and shout for help, ordering Fang Yi to stop, but he only looks down at them coldly as they claim attacking their captain challenges the whole association. Unmoved by their arrogance, Fang Yi surrounds himself with roaring fire and mocks their pride, then sends a huge fire slash into the building, making them hide in terror as flames smash through the windows and prove their threats mean nothing. He turns away in disgust and looks down at Yue Fengjiang, asking if he truly thought he could take the sword with such poor skill. Exhausted and bleeding, Yue Fengjiang reaches his limit as Fang Yi hurls his flaming sword down like a falling star. Driven by greed, Yue Fengjiang rushes to grab it, shouting that only he deserves such a treasure, while Fang Yi coldly thinks such robbers are no better than criminals and are why humanity suffers. The moment Yue Fengjiang touches the blade, a massive explosion of fire erupts, and Fang Yi stands in the flames, saying his Tang sword is a special weapon that only accepts one master. The blast sends officials fleeing as their building collapses, and they realize their reports were wrong, as their top 3-star captain with vast resources was no match for Fang Yi, who lands calmly on the rubble as the dust settles. Fang Yi stands silent with his burning sword, showing power far beyond a captain, and Wang Zhong, the head of the Kang City Spirit Association, shakes in fear. Thinking Fang Yi may bury their entire group with the fallen captain, he collapses and begs for mercy, admitting the fault is theirs, when a helicopter arrives. The pilot reports a very strong yang power ahead and that the flames are fading, and Gu Yuro gathers blue water energy, worried they are late, then sends rain to put out the remaining fire. Seeing the damage, she admits Fang Yi's strength is amazing, like a national-level pioneer, and realizes her water works only because Fang Yi pulled back, showing mercy. Wang Zhong cheers, thinking headquarters has come to save them, while Fang Yi calmly looks up at Gu Yuro, who senses his power is far greater than Yue Fengjiang's, and notices the Tang sword, judging it too advanced for Tai City to make, and understands Fang Yi made it himself. As Fang Yi puts the sword away and the flames fade, Wang Zhong grows bold and points at him, accusing him of being too cruel and asking how he will explain himself now that headquarters is here. Fang Yi glares and says he gave them 10 minutes to explain, and their silence meant they accepted their captain's death, then releases fiery power around the officials and warns that if they disrespect him again, he will kill them with their fallen captain. Gu Yuro descends with swirling water and asks Fang Yi to stop, and Wang Zhong feels happy, thinking Fang Yi will be punished. But Gu Yuro stands before Fang Yi with respect, admits the Spirit Association failed in duty, and bows in apology, promising headquarters will give him a proper explanation. Fang Yi's face softens as he accepts, while Wang Zhong freezes in shock, realizing headquarters has chosen Fang Yi over him. Wang Zhong shakes as he watches Gu Yuro bow to Fang Yi, finally understanding that headquarters treats the burial sealer with respect and plans to support and reward him to stop more trouble, which terrifies him because his captain died and Fang Yi is not blamed. Fang Yi stays calm, thinking the local association's view does not matter, since the Kang City captain tried to kill him for his sword and showed no gratitude for his help, so his death was deserved. Gu Yuro scolds the officials for not stopping the fight, calls them arrogant, asks who leads the Kang City Spirit Association, and Wang Zhong raises his hand in fear. She orders them to calm the public in 3 days and create a cover story, then coldly announces their punishment, saying all of them will be removed and replaced by new staff sent by headquarters, warning that failure will bring serious consequences. Fang Yi watches in surprise that headquarters would replace the whole staff to show their stance. Gu Yuro returns to him and says, headquarters must make it clear that anyone who challenges the burial sealer will end like Kang City's captain and leaders, then asks if he is satisfied and promises this will not happen again. Fang Yi replies calmly that those who challenge him also challenge headquarters and asks how they will control public opinion about these strange events. Gu Yuro explains that disasters are happening more often. Many people already suspect the truth, but the government cannot reveal it yet because society would fall into chaos and order would collapse, adding that without Fang Yi saving Tai City, the result would have been terrible. Fang Yi reflects that the new era truly began after the Anomaly King fell, that chaos among a few pioneers is better than chaos for everyone, and that strong leaders must face danger to protect peace. He understands why the nation controls information to stop panic and reckless acts, though this depends on powerful pioneers working together, and he knows his current strength is still not enough for what is coming. As he prepares to leave, Gu Yuro says a special plane is ready for Tai City and smiles, saying she truly admires him and envies Tai City for having someone so young with such power and restraint, and Fang Yi tells her not to be so formal. Gu Yuro reaches out her hand and warmly asks if she can be his friend as Gu Yuro, not as the ocean mystic, and Fang Yi is surprised by her sincere request. At Star God Warzone headquarters, Jilan hears the report about Kang City, slams her desk in anger, calls the local spirit association fools, and notes that Kang City, now ranked third, is losing its position and may fall from the rankings, so headquarters should take control. Her blonde subordinate says headquarters is reliable and that Ocean Mystic may be trying to win Fang Yi over, and Jilan agrees they must reward Fang Yi better, deciding to double the reward for his help. The subordinate suggests a top-secret restricted area for Fang Yi to train, saying another genius is already there and that worse disasters than the King's Sacrifice Hell will come, so Fang Yi must grow stronger fast. Jilan agrees, thinking the area may still be too simple for him. A staff member rushes in with shocking news that Elder Wu has awakened and wants to see her. Hours later in Tai City, Fang Yi relaxes in his new villa and gets a bank message for 10 million wen, likely his reward. Lin Yi tells him the forums are full of rumors that he killed Kang City's captain, and Fang Yi says the rumors are exaggerated, tells her to stop reading them and go train. He says he will try to break through again, and Lin Yi worries he is moving too fast, but he just laughs. Upstairs, Fang Yi sits in dark energy, holds a golden core of pure dark power from the Bone Bird, and merges it into his limitless dark domain. The Bone Bird's spirit appears. The system asks to embed the dark attribute. He agrees, and the fusion succeeds, upgrading his domain so trapped enemies are attacked by the Bone Bird and other anomalies inside. Realizing he can command these absorbed anomalies, Fang Yi releases his power, forming a huge golden fire avatar, and a system notice appears saying he meets the conditions to advance to the 3-star spirit creation realm. Fang Yi's training sends huge power into the sky, forming a giant golden fire god above the city, and people stare in awe, with a photographer saying the immortal who saved them has appeared again. In the villa, the power bursts out in a blinding golden flash, while in Fang Yi's spiritual world, he stands in a dark space as the spirits of monsters he defeated, including the Bone Bird and the giant serpent, rise before him and bow. Fang Yi sits on a dark throne, seeing them as servants that make his limitless dark domain stronger. The system confirms an upgrade and gives him a new skill called Anomaly Warfare, which lets him summon these monsters to attack enemies pulled into his dark world, though stronger enemies use more spiritual power. Holding the Bone Bird's dark essence, Fang Yi welcomes it and knows he must grow his energy to use this power well. In the real world, a golden beam shoots into the clouds, and the system confirms he has reached the 3-star spirit creation realm. He feels his powers fully merge, his dark attribute no longer causes discomfort, and he steps down, summoning flames, ready to test his new strength in real fights. At Star God Warzone headquarters, Elder Wu and Jilan talk about Fang Yi's fast growth, noting it has been only half a month since he used the Lost Bloom, and that in days he cleared 2 Anomaly Kings and advanced twice, even controlling dark power better than Elder Wu. At Tai City Spirit Association, Su Qingying feels the wave of power and starts protection plans, later praising Fang Yi online and mocking Kang City's captain for doubting him. In Kang City, Chu Qingli struggles to advance, finds her messages ignored on the Pioneer Network, and thinks bitterly that she does not know the burial sealer, wishing to meet him in person. Chu Qingli worries her status is not enough to catch. The burial sealer's eye in this new era reads that Kang City has angered him, and decides to leave at once for Tai City to seek better chances. Back home, Lin Yi asks Fang Yi about his breakthrough as they eat, and he says his energy flows smoother and his efficiency doubled, but the real change may only appear at the Vajra realm. Lin Yi shows him Jilan's message about new anomalies in Tianhai Forest, and Fang Yi says he was invited too, so they go together. Tianhai Forest lies on the border of the Star God War Zone, is sealed by the military, and is full of strong spiritual energy that causes heavy mutation. At the entrance, Song Yue greets them and warns that a new kind of fire has appeared, gloomy, spreading, and impossible to put out. Fang Yi guesses it is a new fire attribute, declines a guide after asking Lin Yi, and the officer stays behind, shocked by how strong Lin Yi's energy feels. Deeper in, the ground is scorched and a strange fire burns the forest. Fang Yi senses a cold death aura as strong as dark tide, activates golden sun breathing, and tells Lin Yi to step back. Shadowy tendrils attack, and he realizes the flames feed on spiritual power, and even his supreme yang is less effective, so he shields Lin Yi, warns her wood power is weak to fire, and cuts a safe path with his spirit sword. The death energy thickens as they reach a cliff over a vast pit with veins and dripping magma. Fang Yi recognizes the center of the anomaly, and the system appears, detecting a great change of heaven and earth, naming it the Twilight Fire attribute, and starting to record data for a new technique. Fang Yi reaches into the flowing magma, and a system message appears saying he has gained the Twilight God domain, a power that absorbs nearby attributes to strengthen his yang. A demonic aura forms, and the system warns of a dangerous skill called Death Brand that curses anyone who kills him with endless deaths in flames and decay, so he saves it and does not learn it yet. He then absorbs the Twilight Fire, forming an orb, while Lin Yi watches in shock as he stands in the hellish flames. Fang Yi senses danger and warns her, then a huge winged demonic lizard appears behind her. He steps in front, calls it a mutated lizard, and mocks it as a big insect, choosing it to test his new domain. The beast breathes lava, and Fang Yi dodges, strikes back with a glowing slash, and their powers collide, sending shockwaves that crack the ground. The pit erupts like a volcano, blasting fire through the forest. At the edge, Song Yue and Wang Zhong are thrown back and call for backup. Monitors raise a red alert as energy in Tianhai Forest spikes by 1,000%, and a new mutated life form is marked S level. At headquarters, Ji Lan and Elder Wu see the report and rush out at full speed. As they arrive, Song Yue and Wang Zhong run from the danger zone and cheer when they see two streaks of light. Elder Wu lands like a meteor, breaking the ground and standing in a yellow aura, ready to face the threat. Song Yue is stunned by his calm, restrained power and realizes this is the strength of a Vajra realm pioneer, different from Fang Yi's bright and fierce style. In seconds, they arrive. Jilan lands and points out the target. Elder Wu steps forward and smashes the rock wall with one swing, opening the way, then leads everyone inside. In the pit, Lin Yi shields herself from the wild energy and calls to her cousin. The dust clears and Fang Yi stands calm with his flaming sword, the huge mutated lizard dead behind him. He tells Lin Yi he is fine and senses strong people coming, hiding his extra power as the dark aura fades. Elder Wu walks out of the tunnel, his yellow glow fading, and faces Fang Yi. He calls him the burial sealer and thanks him for saving him before. Seeing the corpse, Elder Wu realizes the beast was close to perfect evolution and would have reached Vajra realm if it became a dragon, and he is amazed Fang Yi killed it in one strike. He senses the Twilight Fire on Fang Yi and thinks the warning was caused by Fang Yi's power, not the monster. Jilan is shocked he solved it alone and shudders at what could have happened if the beast had broken through. Fang Yi greets Elder Wu, glad he has recovered, and Elder Wu jokes he can retire now. Elder Wu asks Fang Yi to keep the true nature of this creature secret from everyone, even the association, and Fang Yi agrees. He realizes Tianhai Forest is a place of great change where worse things than dark anomalies can appear, understands the burden on the war zone, and studies his Twilight Fire, which devours like the legend of Tao Ti, wondering if something ancient once existed here. Elder Wu thanks him again and says they should not spread fear or talk about high-level anomalies. A strong wind passes with a fresh aura. Lin Yi smiles at the refreshing feeling, but Jilan is shocked by the strength in it. High above, a figure moves fast through the trees. Jilan wonders if a top genius has already reached Vajra realm. The figure stops, revealing a handsome young man with long blue hair and sharp blue eyes, smiling with confidence. In the forest, Baisu descends lightly, stepping on a falling leaf. The pioneers below feel his strong aura and think he has reached the Vajra realm. Fang Yi watches closely and knows that is not true. Baisu greets Elder Wu and Jilan, saying his training is done. He notices Fang Yi and asks who he is. Elder Wu introduces Baisu as the war zone's ace and explains he has been in seclusion. Baisu says he is only at half-step Vajra and has not fully broken through. Fang Yi smiles and introduces himself as the Tai City captain, the burial sealer. Fang Yi senses Baisu's power feels clean and calm and knows their strength is close, showing how hard the Vajra realm is to reach. Baisu doubts Fang Yi's title, but Elder Wu corrects him and says Fang Yi saved his life and solved the Tai disaster, so he must be respected. Baisu is shocked by what he missed. Elder Wu explains Baisu is a prodigy raised with top resources and has been isolated, so he knows little of the outside world. He says humans grow slower than monsters, true power is rare, and only 5 people in the world have reached Vajra. Many die trying to cross that barrier, but those who succeed change completely. He praises Baisu for reaching half-step Vajra with calm, pure energy. Baisu then steps closer to Fang Yi and says he felt Fang Yi's breakthrough wave during training, which helped him advance, so he wants to test Fang Yi. Their auras rise, Fang Yi forming a golden fire dragon and Bai Su forming a nature dragon. Bai Su says they are alike, and Fang Yi accepts the duel. Elder Wu steps in as referee, tells everyone to move back, and warns them not to seriously hurt each other. Their powers clash, blasting the forest. Song Yue watches in shock while Ji-lan stays calm, and Elder Wu watches closely. Bai Su uses his wood power to make huge vines rise and wrap toward Fang Yi. Fang Yi moves fast, gathers blue energy in his hands, and cuts through the vines, seeing that Bai Su can use the whole forest as his weapon. Vines rush from the shadows to grab Fang Yi, but he grins and says the wood is perfect fuel for fire. He summons his sword, flames wrap around his hand, and he swings, cutting the thick roots. He expects them to burn, but a light spreads over the vines and the wounds heal at once before the fire can spread. Fang Yi's face hardens when he sees his fire fail. He asks if Bai Su's plants are immune to fire, since wood should be weak to it. Bai Su calmly says his plant army is special and cannot be suppressed by fire anymore. Fang Yi's eye glows as vines burst from the ground under him, wrapping around his body and sealing him inside a giant wooden sphere. Bai Su stands outside and says that if they were real enemies, this prison would be impossible to escape. Inside the dark cage, Fang Yi stays calm and touches the wall. He feels pure wood energy and strong poison on his skin. Bai Su warns him not to touch it long, saying the tree has natural toxins made stronger by his power. Fang Yi smiles and decides to test the poison. Bright light breaks through the cracks, and a huge pillar of golden fire blasts upward, shattering the wooden cage and lighting the sky. Bai Su turns pale as heat washes over him, shocked that his enhanced plants are burning. Fang Yi attacks from above while Bai Su is distracted. Bai Su jumps away in light and barely avoids the flaming blade. He lands shaken, unable to accept that Fang Yi, only at 3-star spirit creation, can match him. Fang Yi lands on the scorched ground as the forest burns. Bai Su realizes Fang Yi burned the forest to cut off his power source and accuses him of doing it on purpose. Fang Yi admits it, saying Bai Su could draw endless energy from the forest. Furious and wild, Bai Su slams his hands into the ground, and jagged roots tear up the earth. Elder Wu and Ji-lan rush forward, shouting for him to stop, warning that using his body to replace the forest will drain all his spiritual energy. Ignoring Elder Wu's warnings, Bai Su pushes his power to the limit, and huge roots burst from the cliff. His face twists in pain as he screams. Elder Wu and Ji-lan panic, calling his name. Bai Su uses his move to reshape the land, creating a giant body of vines that blasts Fang Yi back with strong wind. Fang Yi stays calm. He forms a fireball, feeling how thick the wood energy is, and charges into the vines, telling the others the fight is not over. Elder Wu can only watch. Fang Yi's eye burns with golden light as his power changes, and he cuts through the plants with waves of fire. He then forms a huge sword of energy in the air and brings it down. Bai Su barely dodges as the strike tears through the vines behind him. The strain breaks his body, and he coughs blood from using too much power, yet he still refuses to stop. With wild eyes, he says he can keep fighting and will rebuild the forest again. Fang Yi gives a faint smile and closes in fast to strike. Bai Su crosses his arms and raises a shield. The clash explodes and shakes the ground. Song Ye is shocked to see Bai Su pushed so far, while Lin Yi smiles, knowing Fang Yi has not used all his strength. Elder Wu says Bai Su's mind has broken under pressure, and Ji-lan adds he has never lost like this. Bai Su falls to his knees, blood on his lips, and whispers thanks as if he learned his lesson, but then screams that he can still fight. Green light surges as many glowing copies of him appear for a last attack. Fang Yi sees this shows Bai Su is truly strong and has drained much of his energy, yet he stands firm. He releases a storm of fire slashes that cut the copies apart and burn them away. Bai Su loses sight of him and then realizes Fang Yi is beside him. In an instant, Fang Yi traps him in a spinning cage of golden fire. Bai Su freezes in shock, finally seeing the gap between them. Fang Yi stands on a giant dragon head of golden flame, points his sword at Bai Su, and calmly asks if they can end the match now. Elder Wu watches the scene and knows Bai Su is defeated, feeling amazed that the burial sealer keeps exceeding his expectations. Ji-lan says she expected Bai Su to lose, but not so completely, while Lin Yi smiles because she knew this would happen. Song Yue and Wang Zhong agree the result is not surprising since Fang Yi solved 2 disasters alone. The fight ends with Fang Yi landing calmly as Bai Su stands across from him, breathing hard. Bai Su looks at Fang Yi and mutters that he cannot tell if he is half-step Vajra or just a monster, then admits his own strength is nothing compared to Fang Yi's. He bows with respect, thanks him for the lesson, then suddenly says he must leave for urgent training. Before anyone can stop him, Baisu turns into a sort of green light and flies away, saying he is returning to seclusion. Jilan complains they still need him, but Elder Wu understands this is the first time the proud genius has been crushed and lets him go. Elder Wu then approaches Feng Yi and offers him a position in the Star God War Zone while he remains captain of Tai City, saying he wants him as his successor and promising access to top resources and the power circle in Shen City. Feng Yi politely refuses, saying he only took the captain role to protect his home and does not want to join any group. Song Yu and Wang Zhong are shocked, but Elder Wu accepts this, saying strong pioneers dislike being tied down and suggest becoming allies instead. Feng Yi says he and Lin Yi will stay in the forest to train. Storm clouds gather as thunder energy rises from the forest after the battle. Elder Wu orders everyone to leave so Feng Yi can train without disturbance and thinks it is a blessing for Xia Nation that Feng Yi stands with them. Feng Yi senses the storm, rises into the sky, welcomes the lightning, and activates his divine thunder to begin training. In Tianhai Forest, as dark clouds gather, Feng Yi flies into the violent lightning storm. On the ground, Baisu forms a shield and watches in shock, thinking it is madness for someone with strong firepower to touch pure thunder, since two extreme powers usually clash and harm the user. He believes even dual attribute pioneers rely on one main power and one support, not two opposite forces, and wonders if Feng Yi knows this rule. A huge bolt hits Feng Yi, but he smiles as blue light fills his eyes and he absorbs the thunder. From afar, Song Yu panics and asks Elder Wu and Jilan why they are not stopping him, warning the thunder is deadly to anyone nearby. They stay calm as Jilan reveals Feng Yi also has top-level thunder power, and that the Tyrant and the Burial Sealer are the same person. Xiong Yu and Wang Zhong are stunned, realizing Feng Yi's strength is beyond normal dual attributes. In the storm, Feng Yi controls the wild energy, knowing stronger lightning will strengthen his body more. Wrapped in electricity, he calls for more power and uses divine thunder to temper his body, feeling it refine his bones and muscles. As it continues, his fire, yang, and dark powers balance within him, and system notices confirm each attribute is tempered. When it ends, his body and energy are better fused and restored. Smiling, he tests his strength by throwing a thunderbolt at a distant mountain, blowing off its peak in one strike. Baisu watches in awe, sensing Feng Yi used less than a third of his power, and knows no other pioneer could do this from afar. As the storm fades and Feng Yi descends, Baisu vows they will fight again one day. Nearby, Elder Wu smiles, amazed by Feng Yi's endless growth and wishing more than ever that he would stay with their war zone. As the storm ends, Elder Wu laughs, and Jilan says the truth is that the Star God War Zone needs the Burial Sealer more than he needs them. Elder Wu praises how much Jilan has grown, making her shy, then notices Lin Yi meditating calmly and thinks of inviting her instead. Feng Yi finishes training and lands beside his cousin, telling her this chance is rare and she should work hard. Seeing Elder Wu and Jilan still there, Feng Yi asks why. Elder Wu says he has a new offer that asks nothing from Feng Yi and invites Lin Yi to train at the war zone. Lin Yi's energy rises as she finishes meditating. Feng Yi thanks Elder Wu and says he cannot decide for her. Lin Yi stands up and calmly refuses, thanking him but saying she does not want to go. When Elder Wu asks why, she says she wants to grow by her own effort, not because of her cousin, and she wants to earn everything herself. Feng Yi is surprised but proud. Elder Wu laughs, approves her choice, and encourages her to do her best. Later that night at Feng Yi's villa, he and Lin Yi walk upstairs. Feng Yi thinks about his new powers and how to use Twilight Fire, and about the dangerous death brand he has not used yet. At the door, Lin Yi points out someone waiting there. It is Su Qingying, looking tired. Feng Yi asks why she is there. Su Qingying explains that a big disaster happened at the border, and the captain of Yue City came to the Tai City Spirit Association to ask for urgent help. Feng Yi asks where the captain is now. Su Qingying says he is badly injured and is being treated at their medical center. She explains that the captain fought his way out of Yue City just to deliver this message, and with no other choice, she came to ask the Burial Sealer for help. At the Tai Spirit Association Medical Center, Feng Yi and Su Qingying meet the injured captain. In the hallway, a young woman with short, messy dark hair and bandages on her face and arms turns when her name is called. Su Qingying arrives with Feng Yi, and the woman greets her, then asks who Fang Yi is. Su Qingying introduces him as the captain of Tai City and the burial sealer, and introduces the woman as Chen Ruo, the captain of Yue City. Chen Ruo quickly grabs Fang Yi's hands and begs for help, saying the anomaly in Yue City is far more dangerous than reported and clearly above A+ rank. She says many pioneers vanished, her whole team is gone, reinforcements disappeared, and even her powerful sister is missing. Fang Yi listens calmly and asks if they are missing or dead. Chen Ruo cannot answer and says she cannot contact them, but she feels her sister is still alive. She then remembers a gift and offers a small box to Fang Yi, saying she has no other choice. Fang Yi senses sealed yang energy inside. Chen Ruo explains it is a spirit crystal formed from a mountain that erupted with yang power in Yue City. It holds huge energy and is their city's treasure, but no one could absorb it and some were burned trying. Su Qingying explains spirit crystals are rare and valuable and can help awaken powers. Fang Yi takes the crystal, absorbs its light, agrees to help, and asks to leave at once. Later, they drive toward Yue City. In the car, Fang Yi asks about the anomaly. Chen Ruo says tombstones appeared in the mountains, villagers heard sounds inside, and when pioneers checked, they found nothing. The area was sealed, but that night, skeletal arms burst from a tombstone and dragged a villager inside. As Chen Ruo finishes speaking, the car stops in heavy rain at a village surrounded by endless gray tombstones. She says this is the place, and asks Fang Yi what he thinks. Fang Yi looks around and finds it strange, because he cannot sense any strong, abnormal aura. As they walk through the field, the tombstones glow with faint light. Chen Ruo says, more tombstones keep appearing across Yue City, and at random times skeletal hands pull people into the graves. She is shocked to see the number has greatly increased in one day. Fang Yi feels the anomaly's energy is very weak and thinks this may be to lower people's guard. He believes the captures look more like a ritual. Touching a tombstone, he explains that anomalies can use sacrifices to revive a stronger anomaly, like the bat monsters that brought out an anomaly king in Tai City. Chen Ruo panics and says villagers refuse to leave and are planning a ceremony tomorrow. Suddenly, a skeletal hand bursts from the ground. Fang Yi dodges easily, noting it is only B level, and cuts it off with his flaming sword, but another hand grabs his blade as a larger, multi-limbed skeleton rises. More skeletons burst out around Su Qingying and Chen Ruo. Chen Ruo is shocked that they are not afraid of Fang Yi's yang power as a huge swarm of glowing skeletons appears. Fang Yi smiles. Feeling his guess may be right, Chen Ruo plays her flute and cuts down skeletons with some sort of green energy, but says they feel no pain and keep coming, and their numbers are too many. Su Qingying fights beside her and tells her not to lose hope. Suddenly, red flames burn the skeletons around Su Qingying. Fang Yi rises into the air and opens his Twilight Fire domain, forming a huge sphere as fire floods the ground and wipes out the horde. A system notice appears, saying his domain is absorbing a special death attribute and turning it into yang power. Another notice confirms the enhancement is complete. Su Qingying and Chen Ruo watch as the last skeletons are burned by the huge fire. Chen Ruo is impressed and says the burial sealer's fame is deserved. Relieved, she believes Yue City can still be saved, apologizes for before, and takes them to her team. They reach a camp used by the Yue City Spirit Association. The pioneers greet her as captain. Chen Ruo introduces Fang Yi and Su Qingying as reinforcements, the burial sealer, and the Tai captain. Her teammates, Dongfeng, Chen Xing, and Chen Shi, stare in doubt, thinking he is too young, and one says the situation here is different. Dongfeng scolds Chen Ruo for coming back with outsiders and says the city is nearly gone, that they were tricked into coming here as sacrifices. Fang Yi calmly says he accepted the request and will solve the problem. Chen Shi explains their people are traditional and pray to gods when helpless. From a cliff, Fang Yi sees a village wrapped in the mist from tombstones and suspects the ritual is linked to the anomaly. Wind moves the forest as villagers gather for a ceremony. The group goes to Yue Yuan Square, where a bonfire burns and villagers beg their god for help, one man offering his life. The fire suddenly dies, the platform breaks, and cracks spread. Skeletal hands claw out, and skeletons rise from the mist. Panic spreads as villagers run. An old man says it is a test from their god. A mother is knocked down by a skeleton and separated from her child. A larger ghostly skeleton reaches for the crying girl, but it is destroyed by a flash of golden light. A huge wave of holy fire then sweeps the square, burning the skeletons and turning the area into flames. The villagers stop running and stare in shock. Their fear turns into awe when they see the flames, and some shout that it is heavenly fire. Despair becomes joy as they lift their hands. Fang Yi lands on the broken platform and tells them their prayers are no longer needed. With a cold face, he says there are no gods and none will save them. The villagers kneel, then misunderstand his words and cry with joy, calling him a god and begging him to save them again. Fang Yi sighs at the mistake. Standing in the fire, he opens his twilight fire domain. A huge spinning sphere forms in the sky and pulls in the death energy and broken bones. He tells them he is not a god, but a pioneer captain from Tai City, the burial sealer. Chen Ruo's team stares at the sphere in shock, and Chen Ruo says she warned them he was no ordinary pioneer who solved disasters in Tai and Kang City. Fang Yi then flies like a golden comet toward the main village, still covered in mist and full of skeletons. A system message confirms his domain absorbed much death energy and strengthened his yang power. He draws his flaming sword and sends out a huge wave of fire mixed with purple light, saying he will free Yue City. The fire sweeps the village and burns the skeletons. Survivors cheer, believing heaven saved them. Su Qingying reports the stability zone is back to normal, and Chen Ruo says Baimu zone is clear, with only Jinming zone left. Suddenly, Su Qingying warns something is wrong because the pillars have increased. Chen Ruo confirms a huge energy surge in Jinming zone as power gathers in one place. A dark vortex forms and shapes into a giant skeleton, a new anomaly king. Fang Yi faces it calmly as two system windows appear, one analyzing the power and the next naming it the death attribute.